What we do here is go back.
Hello there, everybody. Why is the chat doing that? Oh, for God's sake, I hate the world. There we go. Fuck me. I accidentally deleted a folder in my thingamajig, so I had to start a new one, and for some reason, even though it's at the bottom of the thing, the order's all wrong. Absolute load of shite. I'm very well prepared for tonight's stream, as you can tell. Just getting rid of the free advertising for the presumably very evil corporation that make this particular brand of soda. How are we all? Are we well? Don't do that. Don't do what? What am I not doing? What am I not doing, Flint? No, not Flint. Rohack. Whoever the fuck you are. I don't fucking know who people are. Did you enjoy the video I linked for you of the doggo chariot gift? I did indeed. Thank you for that, Flint. Much love. Did you delete your porn folder? No, if you're actually remotely interested, the picture folder, because for instance I've got 3 pictures here, so it fills out the full screen. So you put those in a folder, so that when you get rid of it, when you do this to go to the thing, they all disappear. You don't have to individually get rid of them, or individually. What's the phrase it uses? Hide/unhide. And I accidentally got rid of it instead of getting rid of just individual things within it. You're not even interested. So I had to set up a new folder. And even though I put the folder at the bottom, which means it should be literally behind everything else, like it's behind the camera, it's behind the chat, for some reason it decided not to do that part of it for some fucking reason. God. Because I fucking hate technology. hate it so much. When it just decides to do some shit. Fucking death to America. It's the only answer. Anyway. Yes. How are we all? The Blues don't play till tomorrow. So, I've had a rather boring day, frankly. Watching football that I don't care about. Anyway. Yes. So, I hate that to listen to England and New Zealand I have to listen on TalkSport. Yeah, it is a bit annoying. It certainly is. I'm sure there are sites where one can entirely legally stream certain things. I may occasionally use certain streaming services that are totally legal. I think I've covered myself. Anyway. So if you don't want to listen to TalkSport, I'm sure you can access those totally legal feeds. Sometimes they're from different countries, which means you do get the delightful thing of working out words that they don't seem to have in Hindi, which is always good. Look, it'll be a stream of an Indian service. Like, it's literally the same feed that you get on Sky Sports, right? So it'll be like David Gower and whoever. Well, actually, he's retired, hasn't he? But there's the same feed you would get if you were watching Sky Sports. But instead of having Sky Sports in the top left, it'll have, like, incomprehensible name of Indian TV company. Because they've just basically bought that feed to broadcast in India. And these sites that are totally legal, which you can access, have the Indian feed, right? And so when it goes to the adverts for those things, they'll have like, it'll be like an advert for like a company you might even recognise, like, I don't know, fucking an insurance company or something, right? And they don't, for some reason, they must have words for life and insurance in Hindi, right? But for some reason, in the TV adverts, it'll be like, I won't do an accent or anything, but it's like, Hindi, life insurance, Hindi. Like, why are you saying life insurance in English? Surely you have words for that. Why don't you have your own term for this? That's very strange. Anyway, so I always enjoy that. Look, they must have those words. They must exist. So why not? Why do the English thing? Anyway, don't matter. Who gives a fuck? One of the weird little quirks of fuck me, of imperialism. There are seamstress. I don't know if it was you or somebody else that recommended that documentary on the Spanish women's football team and the Kiss scandal and all of that, but I haven't watched it yet, but I will get round to it at some point. Why do you say coup d'etat in French? Well, for exactly the same reason, Marcel, because we were invaded and imperialised. We were colonised by France a very long time ago. Which is why we say beef, which is obviously from the French boeuf, as opposed to cow, which comes from an Old English term, or is it Nordic? Whatever. Anyway, it's an old term. But all of the fancy words from that period come from French, because everyone that ruled the place was French. So, just saying. Also, interestingly, the French conquest of England had one very noticeable difference on the way in which we say the name of the city in which Helena lives, that being Nottingham. Originally, that place was called Snottingham. I kid you not. It had nothing to do with the modern phrase snot meaning mucus, but it is still funny. But the French, when they took over, they actually didn't mess with the place names too much at all. They kept most of the kind of original place names, outside of occasionally sticking in a de la Zouche on the back of something because it was like a family name or whatever. But mostly they kept the names. But for some reason, the SN at the start of the word fucked with the sort of French pronunciations of the time. So they just went, no, get rid of the S. They could pronounce Nottingham, but apparently Snottingham was too much for them. So they just dropped the S. So now we know it as Nottingham. A little fact for you there. It's actually true. And it sounds like I just made that up for shits and giggles, but I promise you that's true. Thank you, Carl Brown, with $2 dues, or £2 even, which is worth a lot more because fuck dollars. I hope all you are well, Kev. I am very well, and I'm glad you are well too. Why am I wearing high vis? I am not wearing high vis. I'm wearing a shirt of the New England Patriots, or traitors, whichever way you want to look at it. It's a historical quote thing. Is that the same S thing with Scunthorpe? No. No, I don't think it is. All you're saying, all British imperialism is really French. True, or you could look at it this way. It's either all French, or it's partly French and partly Norwegian/Danish, and a bit of German. It's almost as if Britain, the concept of a native Britain is fucking ludicrous. Anyway. Yes, I'll do the shilling, shall I? I'll do my shilling. You can go to if you want to help me out. If you want to help me out, you can go. You can hit the like button. You can actually that's. Oh, yeah, I'll do YouTube first. Fuck it. You can hit the like button. You can subscribe to the channel for free. You can do super chats, which I will read out as you just saw with Carl. You can do. You can become a member for 99p. You can give memberships to the community. My face is about to explode. My sincerest of apologies. You can, yes, if you're on Twitch, you can follow for free. You can become a member for $5 or something. It's probably more now because, you know, inflation and Twitch being cons. Anyway, you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. You can gift subs to the community. You can do bits messages. You can do super chats for the Streamlabs link below. I've got a Patreon and or PayPal if you want to help out monthly or individually. You can check me out on Discord, YouTube, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. I think that's all. I am not sure. To be fair, that jersey does make you look like a railway workman. Well, I guess it's just because of the stripes. I think it's supposed to be like the stripes of the American flag on a blue background. It's supposed to look vaguely American, I think. Fun fact, did you know there are no countries in Africa that start with the letter K? That isn't true. Kenya? Yeah, that's it. I think that's literally all, isn't it? Yeah. But, I mean, they really are. Yeah, that's... But thank you, Kebab Mucha. You should hit the follow button and tell me more things that aren't true. I guess. Oh, little Papa. We've always got time for little Papa. Absolute kings, every one of them. Fucking love it. Anyway. So, shilling has happened. Right. There are a few things I want to get through tonight. This, just to kick off with, I was reminded of this absolute banger from years past. If you need context for this, tough. This is the Lenin of our age, by which I mean he's also brain dead.
You doubted me, but I saw it too with my own eyes. There are only two holes! Whoa! There are only two holes! Whoa! There are only two holes! Whoa! There are only two holes! Whoa!
Oh, that's fucking hot. That's hot. You know what's also hot? Curtis motherfucking Daly. Yes. Friend of the channel, no less. Curtis Daly from the Turn Left Medias. Everyone should go and follow him on Turn Left Media. I've been on the channel many times. Good lad. Good lad. Anyway, he was on GB News, which is pretty fucking dope. Now, GB News is a shithole. Let's not pretend otherwise. GB News is fucking awful. But it still gets some viewers, and it's influential enough in right-wing circles. So having a left-wing voice on there is good. So, yeah, and it's like a big step up. It's a big, it's a big thing. Helena is watching this right now too. You should watch it together. The thing is, right, I'm sure that would be fun and all the rest of it, but like, we generally do a Sunday show, so I don't want to be like, oh, we should do a show on the Saturday and the Sunday, and then we should do the Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Like, just, you've got to bear in mind that she's on a trajectory to get places, and I am not. And I don't sort of want to harsh her vibe too much, if that makes sense. If she ever wants to just do a random show or join me tonight or whatever, she's always welcome. But like, I don't want to step on toes. Anyway. Also, how do you know what other people are watching? I didn't give you permission to watch anyone else's stream. Only the Kev. Outrageous. Anyway, yeah, so Curtis, it being awesome, again, on a trajectory upwards, was on Technically News channel. So, Oh, God, muted. What a fucking knob. Jesus.
Hello, welcome back to The Weekend with me, Dawn Neeson, and we've been just chit-chatting in the studio during the break about how ready we are. Madeline Grant, Curtis Daly aren't ready at all, and it's December tomorrow. OK, right now, a bit of serious news again. In an interview last night, President Zelensky has suggested he's prepared to end the war in return for NATO membership, even if Russia doesn't immediately return seized land. Zelensky's proposal would signal an end to Ukraine's attempts to win back force by those territories that have been seized by Moscow.
Yeah, the timing of this is not exactly coincidental. It's deliberately like he knows that Trump is about to sell him down the river, so he's trying to get the best deal he can, basically, I think. They're coming for me, clearly. I don't know if you heard that. It was I think possibly a police car, I'm not sure. Every time I watch a turn left video now, I can't help but do the Mind Fuhrer at the end. Thanks for that, Kev. That's absolutely fine. Mr. Peter Wood. Mr. Peter Wood. Made a ride from my own back with that meme.
OK, Curtis and Madeline, as you've just heard, we're talking baubles, are still with me. Curtis, now I thought all this kicked off, right, OK, when Russia said, like, we really don't want you joining NATO, because that's when, we feel threatened, so we're going to invade, and that's how the war all kicked off. And now the Ukraine are going, well, we'll call the war off if we join NATO. Does that make sense to you? Or is it just me?
Well, I think the timing's very interesting from Zelensky. I think what we know is that Russia's economy is suffering right now, and they almost can't afford to keep up their efforts. And I think that, to be honest, I think Zelensky's probably making the right move. I think he doesn't have another choice, to be honest. But it's he's essentially extending to Russia, look, I can see that you are struggling financially to fund this war. How about we maybe actually have a peace settlement and we join NATO? It's kind of funny, though, because it's what both sides don't want, but they're kind of equally losing. Yeah. Of course, like, if it was our country and people say, would you give up part of our lands? You wouldn't, and the Ukrainians will probably say the same thing, most likely. But then, of course, that then means that Ukraine might go into NATO. I do think that's interesting. Now, I mean, Putin wants to take control of Kherson, to cut off Crimea, to make it harder for Ukraine to go back in. I think, I don't really know if there's a strategy here from Putin. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. This is what does really strike me, though, is that for the establishment media and the corporate media, they attacked and criticised everyone who said maybe we should ensue for peace. They said, oh, you're a Putin stooge, you are. I mean, I remember Jeremy Corbyn said we should do this. We should have a peace settlement.
Hey, Jam Man mentioned. Let's go.
Before war, not afterwards. And by the way, I actually disagree with him on some stuff, in terms of he doesn't want arms being sent to the region. I'm kind of relaxed about sending arms and aid to the region. However, this is always going to end up in a political settlement. And I think a lot of the hacks in the mainstream media are probably looking very stupid right now, calling anyone for peace that they're Putin's stooge. And Jeremy Corbyn is essentially right.
Okay,
and this is
okay,
what's
let's
happened.
talk to a hack in the mainstream media.
Not everyone, by the way.
Fighting talk, young man.
There was a weird mood at the start of the Ukraine war, or not even just the start, but, you know, the first year and thereafter, that people who were arguing for some kind of realpolitik here were kind of suspect, and their motives were impugned, and it was implied that they might be like a Russian stooge. And I remember that very well. I haven't really expressed many opinions on this because
A parliamentary sketch wrote for the Telegraph. Oh God, it's literally a fucking Murdoch hack. Jesus. Why did their editor decide to make us stare at Starmer? I don't know. 2-minute hate, maybe? I'm not sure.
it's just, I don't know enough about what's going on the ground, and we hear such conflicting accounts. But I think what this tells us here is also, as well as what Curtis has been describing,
When you say you don't know what's happening, like, you're in the media. You're literally in the fucking media. What, you can't find that out? Does your newspaper not have a foreign affairs department or anything? Does your newspaper not cover this? Your own newspaper that you could read for free? Well, presumably they allow their own writers a free copy, don't they? I don't know. Anyway, like, read about it. What do you mean you don't know? Like, I'm sorry, if Dylan Burns can find out what's happening on the front line, you ought to be able to as well. No offence to Dylan Burns, but he's like not that well connected as a journalist, whereas you write for one of the biggest papers in the country. Well, one of the biggest paper, a big paper, a national newspaper. You could do some journalism, you lazy bastard.
the impact of changing Western leaders. You know, Donald Trump has made it
Trump
very
coming
clear.
in. Trump did say that he's going to be in power and sort it out.
He's made
in
it
a
very
day.
clear that he wants to have a settlement, but also that.
I mean, I don't think we should give Trump. I'll let you finish, but I don't think we should give Trump credit for this, though.
You didn't let her finish.
I'm not
You didn't
giving-
actually let her finish.
No, sorry.
I'm
Excuse
not
me.
giving anyone credit. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it's a good thing. I mean, it's very sad what's going to happen. A lot of innocent life has been lost. It's been a horrific war. Ukraine is battered, and they've been.
Yes, I am suggesting that the Tory graph writers should be gone out to Ukraine. Yes, in the same way that they've happily cheerlead for every war. They wanted war in Iraq. Okay, we'll get your tin hat on then, lads. Off you go. I ain't stopping you. Oh, that's right. You want poor kids to go and get their fucking legs blown off and killed. Twats.
So brave and it's horrific. But you know, what can the West do if it's not going to start committing troops to getting fully invested in this war? But also, you know, it's not just Donald Trump. The German coalition is collapsing. Macron's policy on this has been a bit all over the place, I think. I think Keir Starmer has been pretty supportive of Ukraine, but perhaps not. Things are different to when the beginning of the war, when that started, and it was Boris Johnson being extremely bullish.
In theory, it's a positive thing, but what do you say, both of you, coming to you first, Curtis, so what do you say to a lot of people messaging in, I'm sick of it. We've got problems at home. We've got pensioners that have got a freeze. They've got farmers that are going to be struggling, education.
Okay, so they're literally doing the meme of, we should look after our own first. And then when the people go, well, can I have some help? Then they go, no, fuck off, sponge. Fucking welfare queen. What do you think this is, communism? Because trust me, the people the dark money wankers who back GB News, they don't want to help British people either.
NHS, we know the usual suspects. We need money spent at home. Can we stop giving so much? What do you say to that attitude?
I completely agree. I thought it was quite... again, I'm not necessarily against aid being sent over, but I was really disgusted with Keir Starmer when he said he was going to send £3 billion a year, endlessly, essentially. At the same time, they're cutting winter fuel payments, they're keeping the 2-child benefit cap, and Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer's political project has been, well, we're not really going to change much, we can't really invest in public services, the finances are shot, we won't raise taxes on, like, the super rich, I'm talking about, like, the Jeff Bezos of the world, but we're going to send endless money to Ukraine. And again, this isn't an idle...
Yeah, that's the point. That's the point. If you're not going to have unfunded expenditure, if you want to run it like a household budget, okay, well, then you can't afford 3 billion in perpetuity. Because he literally said, as long as it takes. So what's that, 10 years? 20 years? 50 years? 100 years? How fucking long is that? And that's 3 billion quid a year. They're only looking, from this fucking farmers tax thing, they're only planning to raise like fucking 600 million pounds a year or something ridiculous. And yet they're spending 3 billion in Ukraine. Now again, don't get it twisted. I am more than happy for us to support Ukraine. In fact, I've been consistent in saying we should have given them a lot more help at the start so they could have actually won the war. Anyway, regardless, we've drip-fed them in order to bleed Russia dry. As I said that NATO would, because that's exactly what NATO's game is in this. They have no interest in supporting the freedom or sovereignty of the Ukrainian nation or indeed the Ukrainian people. But they do want to bleed Russia dry, so, you know. Anyway, the point being, I don't think we should cease giving money to Ukraine, but what you can't do is continue to give lots and lots of money to a foreign war whilst freezing pensioners. The optics on that are abysmal.
The logical point for me, because I'm not necessarily against it. But what does that say to the people watching at home who think, I am struggling, rents are going up, my mortgage is increasing, and of course we're going into Christmas, the winter period, where obviously the winter fuel payments again, to see a Prime Minister who says, I'm going to send money endlessly. I think it's so out of touch.
That you describe is very...
They've already... What are you talking about? There's no... Mahmoud, there's no, like, farmers' tax that needs to be passed. That isn't a piece of legislation, that's a finance bill. So that doesn't need to go through Parliament. The budget itself needed to get passed, but it already did. So it's not a problem. Look, it's not... they don't need to pass a piece of legislation in Parliament for that. That's just a thing that the Chancellor does. So it's already, like, going to happen. Like, they could go back on it, sure, but, like, it's already passed as such. Like, a party never votes against its own budget, because that basically brings the government down. And they're certainly not going to do that over taxing fucking Jeremy Clarkson. Taxing Jeremy Clarkson is the one thing that I think pretty much every Labour MP supports, because fuck Jeremy Clarkson, you know. It's no, literally, Marcel, literally it's not an issue. Literally.
Very prevalent, but it was, I think, really important in why Donald Trump won his victory. There was a lot of hostility. The word neocon was used a lot in relation to the Democrat.
I don't think this is true. I think this is a thing that people in politics get very wrapped up in. Outside of very, very occasionally, where you get like the Iraq War or I suppose the Second World War or whatever. Foreign policy is just not that big a deal. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of Trump support did come from the fact that, you know, this idea of, you know, supporting America first and all this shit. Total bollocks. Trump showed during his first term he has no interest in actually doing that. But the point being is that the supporters of Donald Trump don't like what's going on in terms of giving money to Ukraine. Many of them basically are pro-Russia. We've seen this. We've literally seen this. But even those that aren't are still like, oh, I don't want us to spend money in Russia or spend money in Ukraine. Even though they don't seem to understand it's not literally money, it's like old military equipment. But regardless of that, it doesn't really matter to them. Facts are not a major concern for Trump supporters, as we've seen. But whilst they generally sort of are supportive of that position, I don't think it really won him any votes. Not many, anyway. I don't think there are many people who were like, oh, fuck spending money in Ukraine, that also weren't already going to vote for him. So I don't think it's that big a deal. Yeah. The Ukraine war, not at all, but the stuff he got was sexism and xenophobia. Yeah, that had much more of an impact. And let's be honest, it was about economics. It's, I mean, without wanting to be too, like, Clinton-pilled on this, it's like, it is the economy stupid, right? It's the fact that people saw inflation. It was gas prices. It was the price of eggs being too high, etc. Ultimately, people vote with their they vote with their wallets, for the most part. If things are going well economically, they rarely vote a government out. Very rarely. There has to be like massive extenuating circumstances beyond it. If people feel economically safe, they stick with who's in charge already. And if they don't, they change. Sexism. Yeah, I think there's no doubt that there are certain people who didn't want to vote for a woman to be president. I think there's no doubt about that.
Leadership. I mean, I think that there are some really cranky people on the Trumpian side of things who've been incredibly dismissive of Zelensky and the Ukrainian struggle, which I think is very, very unfair. However, you know, people are right to say when they're struggling at home, when it's hard to, the cost of living is going up and inflation is so high as it has been in America and elsewhere. You know what? We should put ourselves first.
Well,
Unfortunately, we've got to move on.
I do want to say, though, quickly about Trump. I know that you mentioned, I'm not saying that you're giving him credit, but there are people who are saying, well, Trump's in power, therefore things are getting better. It's not necessarily true because he's not in power yet. But you essentially got the establishment who are trying to quickly resolve these issues before he gets in because they're worried about his recklessness. His record is he's a war hawk. His entire cabinet, or half of them, are war hawks. Mike Huckabee won't even recognise the West Bank. Marco Rubio, for example, in 2016, Donald Trump was incredibly hawkish, and I don't want this idea that somehow Trump is going to ensue peace.
Yeah, the idea of Trump being a war hawk when he's literally had Marco Rubio pinned as his Secretary of State is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Also, talking of his cabinet, did we see this? Honestly, I think RFK Jr. might be the weirdest human being that's ever lived. I think there's a very good argument that that's true. Where are the bookmarks? There we go. So, as some of you will be aware, he is married to Cheryl Hines, formerly of Curb Your Enthusiasm and various other things. And she sells beauty products, things like that, health and beauty type stuff, right? And she did an advert for that on her, I think, TikTok or Instagram or something, and I'll just let you watch. I'll just let you watch it. It's something.
No, you can't take a shower. I'm doing a video. No. You've got to give me a second. I'm doing a video for Heinz and Young. Okay, honey, the 60% off.
So his wife was live streaming,
take a shower.
and he decided to go and get his penis and testicles out, and take a shower right behind her, as you do. So that's a member of Trump's cabinet there. That's the Health and Human Services or whatever the fuck minister guy is going to be. Yeah. Just saying. I mean, it's not as weird, really, as the dead bear story. Like, that's weird and very illegal. But it's still, it is weird. Let us not pretend otherwise. Is that the brainworm? Probably. Hey, Cog, how are you, my man? Everyone go and follow Antifa Cog. An old and dear comrade to me. Because it's a setup for shock value. Rohack, do not reveal. Do not break the fourth wall here, okay? They do not need to look behind the curtain. It's all legit and genuine and totally not for shock value. Shut up. God, some people. The fun police are in tonight, are they?
The peace movement, anything but he's an establishment with establishment foreign policy. I think that is what I want to, make my point.
That's such a good segue. Oh, Curtis is a professional. It's such a good segue to the thing I want to say next.
I don't think that's true. I think a lot of Trump's policy, whatever you think of it, has been to do with trying to create new agreements that replace the old thing of America being a world policeman, so that they don't have.
Yeah, but that's not the case though. What's
Unfortunately, yeah. We'll have to.
I do have to refute that, but okay.
Solve global peace. Soon. Okay, but we have to go to.
So that was Curtis on GB News, which is fucking dope. Like, that's a big kind of, like, step up in the media landscape, which is fucking dope. Yeah, I thought Curtis did well. I thought he spoke well. Hopefully he gets lots more appearances and that the Turn Left brand continues to grow. Now, as a segue from him, from Curtis talking about Trump trying to appear to be anti-establishment, to our next bit, which is about Cenk This is it is the perfect segue. Why is Cenk the stupidest human being on earth? I think is a good question to ask. Cenk put this out, and it honestly boiled my brain. It's ridiculous. He says, I'll just read it out verbatim. I've been trying to figure out why I'm more optimistic now than I was before the election, even though I was so against the guy who won. I now know MAGA is not my mortal enemy. And neither is the extreme left. My mortal enemy is the establishment, and they have been defeated. Okay, Cenk. I have watched a lot of people try to pivot right over the course of many years doing this now. And I don't want to sound like too much of an old head, but I am. I've watched 1,000,001 people, from Lacey Green to Dave Rubin to Jimmy Dore, whoever, right? 1,000,001 people do the pivot from being left-wing to being right-wing because that's where the money is. And I don't think, outside of maybe in recent times Brianna Wu, outside of her nonsense, I don't think I've seen it handled in such a cack-handed way as we have seen with Cenk and Anna Kasparian. It's so poorly hidden. You're supposed to hide your power level a bit, you know, and you're supposed to sort of ease people in bit by bit. And actually, no, they're just scum. They're just fucking terrible people. I don't know what else to say. They're terrible people, and they're bad at it. The idea that Donald Trump is anti-establishment when he is, at least in theory, a billionaire who lives in a mansion a skyscraper in Manhattan. He was aided by the richest man on earth, literally buying votes in Pennsylvania. He was helped by the second richest man on earth, withdrawing support for his political opponent from the newspaper that he owns. He has received unbelievable amounts of dark money from Sheldon Adelson's widow. He has received unbelievable amounts of dark money from various sources, much of which was probably illegal, but who knows, because Citizens United, something originalism. Absolute joke. The idea that the two richest men on earth helping a billionaire ex-president become the president again is the establishment losing, when the only thing he achieved in the entirety of his first term was quadrupling the number of drone strikes and tax cuts for the rich. Oh, and of course, both Elon Musk and Donald Trump were on the Epstein flight lists. So, again, the idea that the establishment lost in this election is a fucking joke. He continues. It's not just that the establishment candidate lost. It's that their media is mortally wounded. The source of their strength was not insipid politicians like Mitch McConnell or Joe Biden. The source of their strength was their propaganda machine, the mainstream media. Now online media is strong enough that their oppressive monopoly on the American mind has been broken. Now we're in the jungle. They hate it. I love it. This uncontrolled marketplace of ideas. This uncontrolled marketplace of ideas is where I'm home. I'd rather be in the populist woods than an establishment prison. I also just want to point out that the first response to him is from Cat Turd, lying about how dovish they are, apparently. I'm beginning to see that my analysis that Cenk and Anna were done wrong by various people, including a couple of the aforementioned, in Jimmy Dore and Dave Rubin, is not true. They were not true in the same way. They were done dirty not because they left and became right-wing and it made them look like they had a bad selection policy. It's that they were always going to go right-wing themselves and they were just beaten to the punch by those that were better. Free marketplace of ideas. Honestly, Cenk will be using the phrase high-level ideas soon. I promise you. I promise you he'll start going on about high-level ideas. The guy is fucking trash. And a Kasparian is also trash. They are trash alike. Anyway, they did Cenksgiving again this year. Interesting that Hazan was watching the video that we watched a couple of nights ago. Do you remember the one about how TYT helped spread a right-wing myth about the quote-unquote Venezuelan gangs taking over places in Colorado, wasn't it? And we also learned about the sex hotel in Aurora. That was interesting. Did not expect that to crop up as a thing, but it did. Anyway, he was watching that before Cenk arrived at his house. And, yeah. Interesting.
In to shut these buildings down.
Dude,
and
am I ready? Am I ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Shaky Gurga is here in the building. It's Cenksgiving time, baby. It's Cenksgiving time. Woo! Unk is here.
Okay,
What is that?
I got a Thanksgiving present for you. Okay?
You do? Okay. Oh my God.
How much do you love this?
I
know you're a big
Free
fan of
Hunter.
I know.
Okay, someone needs to get me that t-shirt. I'm just saying someone needs to get me that fucking t-shirt. Like, already. That needs to have already happened, okay? Fact.
This reminds me of one of the
I'll
first.
get you a new one.
This is no, it's fine. I like it. Did you guys make this? Is it your merch?
Yeah.
You made.
Does Hassan have family? Well, literally, Cenk Uyghur's his uncle, isn't he? So yeah, look, he is spending time with his family. Unlike, of course, Elon Musk, who has 12 kids or some shit, and spent time with 0 of them. He was with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, obviously. Like, you can have all the money in the world, you can't make people love you.
It would have been better if he was smoking crack in it, but instead of cigs. But
come on, that's pretty good.
Right, I mean, to be fair, if you were smoking crack, that might make the t-shirt illegal, maybe? I don't know.
No, it's sick.
You know who came up with that idea?
Who?
I did.
I love that. Okay.
Free Hunter, baby. Okay, let's do a poly market here.
Okay. For poly market. Wait,
no, seriously.
Wait. You want to know something about? You want to know something about those? First of all, they got raided by the FBI.
The CEO did.
Yeah, the CEO did. I don't know if you know this, but they offered me as a starting point of the conversation, $1 million to just sponsor my election coverage, and I said no.
You earned $420.69. No, you didn't. I need to see a receipt of that before I believe it. Fact.
Good for you. God bless your heart. I probably would have said yes. Anyway.
Well,
okay, so
just that's the entry point of the conversation. They were like, "We'll give you $1 million." I was like, "No, fuck no." Anyway.
Okay. So, anyways, put that aside. Who do you think is gonna pardon Hunter? No one, Joe, or Donald?
I don't know. I feel like Joe could possibly do it, but he respects norms and civility too much, almost in his weird, twisted way. But also, his mental faculties have declined dramatically over the years, so maybe he could still pull through. I don't think Trump would do it though.
I think Trump would do it, but I think Joe's gonna do it because Papa Joe's in a no fucks given time in his life.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, landmines for everyone. Let's bomb Russia with American missiles. Yeah. So I think he's at the point where he's like, yeah, my kid, yeah, I'm freeing him. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, so before we get started, you might be confused.
That would suggest that, like, Joe Biden has a backbone, and I'm not sure there's any evidence for that.
As to why we're calling you Shaky Gurga.
Yes.
And a lot of people in the past has, said your name incorrectly. It's been very frustrating for myself, but I'm sure it's been somewhat frustrating for you. Maybe you're used to it. But I had actually never heard this version of your name. And when we first heard it, we were like, this is it. This is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And now we refer to you as Shaky Gurga. Let's take a look.
It's possible that because he's such a low-tier, low-brow debater.
He's not a debater, and he's been very clear that he doesn't. He's not a debate lord.
Because he's literally a.
Wait, who are they talking about?
So this is. Does anyone have the OG TikTok? I want to show Jank. I want to show Uncle Jank.
What did Hunter go to prison for? I forgot. It was being drunk in possession of a massive cock. His penis was not within FTA guidelines. It was just too big, so they had to send him to prison. It's the only language these people understand.
The OG TikTok. Does anyone have it? The TikTok got taken down. I can't find it. Okay, so this is the I guess like one of those like misogynist podcasts where they just like will have someone. They'll have like some pervert guy who's like really good at debate like women that they hire to be on the podcast, to be ritualistically humiliated basically, and this is like their debate champion that they bring forward, and it was the girl that was on. Girl that was on was apparently a fan of mine and was saying like, oh, Hassan is gonna hate that I'm on this podcast because he hates you guys. The original TikTok, I think. Oh, is this it?
You appear to have a crush on Hassan Abi. Is that correct?
Yes.
Hassan Abi. Like he's fucking Japanese. Hassan Abi.
If he ever watches this, I'm sorry.
Sorry for what?
For being on here, he hates it.
Why?
He's a socialist and he knows the formula of the podcast. I'm not going to go into, you understand.
It's possible that because he's such a low-tier, low-brow debater.
He's not a debater, and he's been very clear that he doesn't. He's not a debate lord.
Because he's literally so it doesn't surprise me he can't
I
debate.
completely disagree.
He's literally a moron. He is not intelligent enough to destroy women in the marketplace of ideas and remind them of their position in society.
He literally said marketplace of ideas as the joke. Oh, Cenk. Unintentionally, he just dunked on you. He just fucking dunked on you. There you go, in live chat. Oh, okay, hang on.
Unlike me, I love these guys.
He sounds super credible so far.
I fucking love these guys so much. They don't know how much I love them because it's like, dude, you're just basically debating the position that you're an unfuckable loser. Like that's the only thing that you're signaling to everyone.
Well, then, what you lied. You lied, non-binary. We were promised 420.69, and you are a full 21 pence off. Someone should gift me 21 bits right now to make the difference, and then between us, it will make that number. It's the only way. Imagine that, fucking fishing for 21 pence, which is what, I don't even know, 15 cents or some shit. I don't fucking know. Either way, you lied to us, non-binary. I'm disappointed. I'm not angry. I'm just a little bit turned on.
Every single person, where you're like, I've destroyed this female in the marketplace of ideas. My interlocutors have been owned. It's like, okay,
it's not usually a winning formula for getting chicks.
Yeah, it's anyway.
Disagree. He doesn't say that he's the smartest person. He's an internet personality who
is connected to Shaky Gurga.
A political commentator.
Did you hear that?
Who is connected to Shaky Gurga.
Shaky Gurga.
Look, man. So look, when I played high school football, we had this hilarious public access would carry the games, right? And so we had these announcers, and the coach had.
What the wayward? Now you've given me 8 pence too much. I specifically requested 21 pence, and you have given me 29, which is too many pence. Mike Pence? I don't know. You can't possibly guess a Wheel of Fortune with no letters. 80s song lyrics. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off, Phantom of Black, you prick. Fuck off. Fuck off sideways. Dickhead.
Put on pads, and he's
I'm not gonna have it.
Later was like involved in like a Supreme Court decision, etc. But he's like, all right, I'm gonna participate in the practice, and anybody can hit me. He comes across the middle, and I fucking lay him out, right? And so coach hated me. I don't know if that's why he hated me or not. But the announcers in the game, I crunch somebody coming over the middle, and they tell the story about how I hit the coach, and they go, that's Cenksgiving. He'll hit anybody.
Yeah, but we've heard that one before, like chunky yogurt. Charlie Kirk famously once called you a slur.
Did he? No, he just said chank.
Well, he said it with so much stink on it that it sounds exactly like when you say a chink in someone's armor. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. That's funny. He said chank. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he intended it.
He lives like a capitalist every single day. Chink in your armor.
I doubt he intended it.
Yeah.
But anyways,
he didn't. Yeah, I don't think he was trying to say.
No, I don't think he was trying to say that. You think Charlie Kirk knows the Turks are originally Central Asian? And
No.
So,
but Sink is a good one. Sink is a great one.
Joe Manchin called me Jenks throughout the interview. Hey, Jenks.
That's awesome.
So it is in fact Jenks.
Famously.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank. I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank.
Have you never seen this?
I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank. I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank.
Every time.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, every time he gets more racist, his face gets smaller.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank. I live like a capitalist every single day,
His
Chank.
face was
Yeah,
normal.
that's the right face.
Yeah, that
That's
if his
a normal
face,
face.
seemingly if his face was like 110%, like if his face was 10% larger, like he would
I
be.
live like a capitalist every
like
single
literally,
day, Chank.
like 7 to 10% larger. He has a normal face.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank.
What?
I live like a capitalist every single day, Chank.
This is what he normally looks like.
Okay, so on the other hand, if we're talking about head to body ratio, then we're
Oh no!
That's out of line. That is out of line, dude.
He does have a very small head.
Dude, you're coming in.
start out ad hominem.
You came in hot. You came in. Thank you, Mom. Mom is defending me. She said that's a low blow. That's crazy that you came in and you hit me where it hurts the most, my tiny head. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, I wish I had tiny body parts.
I'm sorry that I am, brolic as fuck, and I have a normal head, but my shoulders are so ginormous that it makes my head look small in comparison, even though it's a normal size head.
Cope.
Body shame.
Okay,
So
yeah.
let's just be clear about that.
Cope.
So that's something that I wanted to. Yeah, I'm a delicacy in Korea. Okay, remember that shaky Gurga?
Political commentator.
And got his job because he had contacts.
Do you watch political commentate?
Yes, I'm a political commentator.
Okay.
Who is this guy? He is a political commentator? I've never heard of
I've
this
never seen
person. We don't know you, little bro. Anyway.
Oh, what's his name? Oh, actually, you know what? It's even better. His name is Zero.
Yeah, his name is nothing. So, anyway, you're too hairy for Korea. It's fine. We can get it. We can get that taken care of. So,
That's
this
a
dude
weird
was on Twitch a
sentence.
long time ago. Okay, nice. Who cares? All right, fuck that guy. So this was a
I
this
vaguely
was
recognize him from
a
somewhere.
fun moment as well. You had this.
I might have been on a panel with him. I have no idea.
We'll show your highlight reel here. Shaky Gurga gets into a fight with Alan Lichtman. The people love this shit. Okay, I love this shit as well. I've made fun of Alan Lichtman before, like before the election.
Alan lick my balls.
Where I was like, because a lot of liberals would come into my chat and be like, "But the 13 keys, like he knows how to turn him." I'm like, he made.
Was that Big Papa fascist? Hang on a minute, was it? Show me Chenky Gurga. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Shaky Gurga.
Political commentary.
Is that him? It might be, you know. Yeah, I think it might be. Oh, well, I have been on panels with him then, yeah. He's a fucking twat.
Shaky Gurga gets into a fight with Alan Lichtman. The people love this shit. Okay, I love this shit as well. I've made fun of Alan Lichtman before.
Good catch. I didn't notice. I think he's lost some weight or something, or my eyes are mental. I don't know.
Like before the election, where I was like, because a lot of liberals would come into my chat and be like, "But the 13 keys, like he knows how to turn him." I'm like, he made it up. Like you can't. There is no hard science here. He made up certain, like he tried to make like a scientific equation for why he was going to be consistently, he's going to be consistently successful at predicting the outcome of elections. And it is ridiculous to look at that. It's like no different than, those famous like octopus that always choose the right candidate ahead of time. Yeah. It's like Mudang.
It's like the cat that falls, if he falls on his left side going down the stairs, then the Republican wins, and falls on his right side. It's nonsense. It's been nonsense from day one.
Anyway, but yeah, here.
Sorry, but I totally disagree with Juan and Professor Lichtman. Don't blame the voters. I think, look, we could get into this discussion, but Juan, I think you're blaming the voters. I think that's a terrible idea. Look, I debated Professor Lichtman before. I told him his theories about the keys were absurd. I was right. He was wrong. I said he'd lose his keys.
No, you were
couldn't
not
find
right,
him before
and
the
I was
election.
not wrong, and that's a cheap shot, and I won't stand for it.
Well, who won, bro?
He was wrong. Like, demonstrably, he was wrong.
You know what's a cheap shot? Why do you have Justin Bieber hair?
True.
That's a real cheap shot. Get a different.
Well, no, it's not even Justin Bieber. It's like it's if Justin Bieber tried to do hair like Rod Blagojevich. It's a mixture of Bieber and Blagojevich, which is a fucking name from the past, a blast from the past.
See, that's important because at that point, I actually did not do any cheap shot. I just reiterated what he had said in the beginning, that he was wrong, right? So he admitted he was wrong, and I said, look, you were wrong, and I was right. That's all. That's not a cheap shot. Later, there are cheap shots because he started interrupting me, which is a very bad idea.
Yeah, he should have...
What is that thing next to What is that weird thing next to Cenk? Are you talking about the dog or Hassan? I don't know.
You should have cheapened the shots, is what I'm saying. You could have hit him on the hair thing. Like, I just don't understand why he has that haircut. I just, anyway.
Should not be taken.
You don't know Rod Blagojevich? Oh, god damn it. He was the mayor of Chicago? Or was he the governor of Illinois? One of them, anyway. Back in the 2000s? Or so, it was something to do with fucking whatever. He was member of the Illinois U.S. House of Representatives. Oh, there we go. The 40th governor of Illinois from 2003 to 2009. Anyway, when Barack Hussein Obama became president, his Senate seat becomes open. And it is then in the power of the governor of the state from which the senator comes from to then hand that out to some fucker. And Rod Blagojevich was found to be essentially selling that Senate seat. And was convicted of many, many crimes. And it subsequently turned out to be he became out as a Trump supporter or some shit in recent times. Where is it? Oprah Winfrey personal style. Here we go. Impeachment and removal from office. U.S. Attorney Patrick Fitzgerald directed, and he was famous for having this hair, like the hair that kind of covers all of his forehead for some fucking reason. Anyway, which was the joke I was doing. But anyway, directed the FBI to arrest Blagojevich at his home in December the 9th, 2008, and charge him with corruption. The Justice Department complaint alleged that the governor conspired to commit pay-to-play schemes, including attempting to obtain personal gain through the corrupt use of his authority to fill the U.S. state Senate seat vacated by Barack Obama following his election as president, claiming that in a wiretap recording, Blagojevich discussed his desire to get something in exchange for an appointment to the seat. After various outreach efforts, he appointed former state attorney general Roland Boris on New Year's Eve 2008. Boris was seated after some initial objection in mid-January 2009. So literally, he was still allowed to do the corruption. The US system is so fucked. It still allowed him to do the corruption, and the corrupt person became the senator as he was being convicted of the corruption he was doing. Honestly, it's fucking wild. Anyway, so that was the joke I was doing there. Whatever.
Cheap
Who
shots
won?
at me.
Who
You
won?
wanna make your
You
point,
live
make your
in
point.
a total
Don't make it
world of
personal.
denial.
I read your own.
I love that. We were, ooh, yeah. You're such a fucking boomer. That's such like. I mean, it's amazing. It's great. You're authentically yourself. But when you went, woo,
total authentic boomer. That's how Shaky Gerger shakes.
Oh, that's so good.
Followers' comments, and they all trashed you, every one of them, and supported me.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let me tell you what happened there. So I debate him on Young Turks. So what happens is all of the key stands show up with. And so they're like, the key heads are like, oh my God, he's so right. You don't even know that 7 keys is higher than 6 keys. And this has been so true of all people that I really, really want to win, right? So like they're total zombies. And they go into the...
Alan Lichtman is a pollster guy who got it totally wrong. He invented this thing called the 16 keys or whatever. Yeah, and it's bollocks. Like, he got it totally wrong.
YouTube section. Look at any of our YouTube videos. It is at least 50% trolls, right? Of whoever. Israeli trolls, right-wing trolls, left-wing trolls, whatever. And this brother thinks, oh, maybe that's the 14th key.
Yeah, he's just...
No, you were just selling them Kool-Aid.
He's on copium. He's looking for... It's just funny because this is after the election where he is like... Before the election, everyone that wanted Kamala Harris to win desperately was like propping him up as this like prophetic figure, and I always thought that was ridiculous. And you know, I think they even did a video on me early on as well, because I think his son might have been a fan of mine or something, and they were like very upset with my interpretation or my bastardization of his 13 keys analysis, right? And you know, but after the election, like, you should at least hang your head in shame. You know what I mean? You should have a little bit of decency to be like, yeah, fucked up. Let's reinterpret this stuff. Let's figure out what's going on.
Yeah, but look, the corporate wing is never going to
defending my dad's honor against Hassan Piker.
The corporate wing's never going to admit defeat.
He sounded like an emotional and disrespectful teenager. God, Hassan is so smug and arrogant. The fact that he's one of the biggest political commentators, streamers out there with no knowledge or credibility on any political subject.
Sure. Yeah, that's what they always say. They're like, well, if you were credible and you knew enough, you would know that corporations should donate to politicians and then completely own them, and those politicians should do dick for you. And that's like the really credible intellectual position. Is it, brother?
He's mad that your dad put his uncle in his place. That's what this guy said.
Like you would give a shit.
I didn't even know.
You didn't even know we were debating.
I didn't even know you guys were duking it out.
Like I'm picturing a moment where you're like, I can't believe he did that to my uncle.
Yeah, first of all, I do defend you. I do defend you. Okay, I do defend you when it's valid. And if I knew that he had come after you, I would have defended you.
Yeah, but like, you also do the weird defense, Hassan, of like ignoring when he and Anna say unbelievably fucked up shit and just pretending that doesn't happen.
I don't defend you when it's not valid. When I
hear you, but the idea of you defending my honor is hilarious. Okay, keep going. You don't have to defend my honor.
Intelligence versus chaos and hate. Love you and your dad. Anyway, don't go after this person. Like, they're probably suffering already. But yeah, it seems as early as August I was shitting on them when I first encountered the thing. But anyway, it gets better.
Personal
yeah,
attacks.
come find out again.
Make whatever point you want.
Yeah.
Don't make it personal.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything.
You attacked me personally.
You don't know anything. That is a bit offensive. Now, don't get me wrong. It's also correct, but that's not the point. And also, yes, it does look like there's just a little toupee talking above my camera. And I am just going to keep it there. That's fine.
So deluded.
Oh, right. I've only been a professor for 51 years.
On this program, I've never been able to finish a thought.
How many books have you published? No, because you're personally attacking me again. Say whatever you...
I mean, to be fair, fucking dickhead has... War Corps has published books.
Get the fuck, like I'm not playing with all these mutants.
Like, fucking War Corps has published books. Publishing books don't mean shit. I read some of them. They're fucking atrocious. Hey, No Justice MTG in the fucking hizzo. How are we all? Hopefully Helena's stream was as awesome as it usually is. I imagine so. Much love. How are you, Helena? You might not be sticking around. You might just have already left. Who knows? But yeah, hopefully it went well. Everyone go and follow No Justice MTG, obviously. Refresh your page so that I get the algorithmic boost of your eyeballs. You can give me money. You can hit the follow button. You can finger me. That's not a financial thing. That's just what I'm into. Just saying.
You want, but I'm not going to stand for
brother,
personal
you got it
attacks.
wrong.
Say
you were
whatever you want.
preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just
Don't
finish
call
your
me
goddamn thought
stupid.
ever on this show?
No, not if you're
Okay,
personally
well,
I
you proved
admitted
it.
I was wrong. I don't need you to call me stupid.
Okay.
Can I just say,
What
it's
kind of
great to see
nonsense
you
is-
getting
Who
along
taught
so
you
well.
manners?
Fucking Piers Morgan is such a shithouse. He really is. Piers Morgan is such a little fucking shit-stirring weasel boy. He's not a serious journalist, he's just a wanker. I'm so happy you two dickheads are shouting at each other. This will do numbers. Fucking hell.
That's just Piers, man. He just... Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. I know he's your best bud.
It's lovely to see you.
Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up?
Cook him!
That's pretty awesome.
Cook him! Onk! Cook him! Cook his ass! Dude, I love your... God, your commentary is excellent. You said tall glass of shut up juice. You are the brownest white man on the planet, by the way. Like, what you are,
Others
like,
have charged that.
Yeah, it's just so funny that you're...
True.
You deserve a tall glass of shut up juice is the most like, listen, pal, not the time, bucko ass take that you could have here.
You know why? Because I'm an American.
Yeah, you just deployed that shit, dude. You deployed it so hard.
For a second.
And it worked. You shut the fuck up.
Well, that's what the tall glass of shut up juice is for.
Yeah.
And let someone who knows what
Not
they're doing.
if you're
So
gonna
right,
personally
Piers.
attack
You're
me.
so right. We're so
Make
unified
any
right
point
now.
you
Okay.
want.
So-
I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that.
Blasphemy? Blasphemy against me? Like, I was already under the impression that he thought of himself quite highly. I didn't think that he thought he was a god. Because aren't gods supposed to be sort of infallible? My dude, you are literally the most fallible motherfucker I've ever seen. You got it so wrong.
Blasphemy against you? Who the hell are you? Are you?
Blasphemy? What a fucking insane thing to say about
That is
like,
mental.
Demonstrably failed political method. Like you try to interpret the election in a way that like very clearly was wrong, and now you're saying it's you're a blasphemer. That's amazing.
Jesus Christ, you loser! Okay, can I?
Harry liked it.
Oh, talking of blasphemers. You don't hear the word blasphemer used very often anymore.
You have been found guilty by the elders of the town of uttering the name of our Lord, and so as a blasphemer, you are to be stoned to death.
Look, I'd had a lovely supper, and all I said to my wife was that piece of halibut was good enough for Jehovah.
Blasphemy! He said it again! Did you hear him? Are there any women here today? Very well. By virtue of the authority vested in me.
Oh, lay off, we haven't started yet.
Come on. Who threw that? Who threw that stone? Come on. Sorry, I thought we started. Go to the back. Oh, always one, isn't there? Now, where were we?
Look, I don't think it ought to be blasphemy. Just saying Jehovah.
You're only making it worse for yourself.
Making it worse? How could it be worse? Jehovah, Jehovah, Jehovah.
I'm warning you, if you say Jehovah once more. Right, who threw that? Come on, who threw that?
Yeah, Cleese is a cunt, but this is still a funny scene.
Was it you? Yes. Right, well, you did say Jehovah. Come here. Now look, no one is to stone anyone until I blow this whistle. Do you understand? Even, and I want to make this absolutely clear, even if they do say Jehovah.
Amazing. Anyway, what kind of sick fuck thought of the punishment of we could just like throw you off a cliff or something? No, we're going to throw rocks at your head and body until you die. Look, that's a real psychopath. Look, who the fuck? When someone suggested that, why didn't they go, Dave, mate, whoa, that's an inside your head thought. That's not. You remember we talked about this? Yeah, sometimes when you have the bad thoughts, you keep them to yourself. No, other people don't need to hear that. Okay. We're going to stick to the cliff thing because it's fast, right? It's humane. Yeah. Mad.
Harry loved it, dude. Fucking Harry Sasson.
Can I just give the correct answer for once? Okay, here we go. So, guys, you're blaming disinformation. There was disinformation. There was the cats and the dogs nonsense. The points you're making about undocumented immigrants, I agree.
Yeah, the undocumented immigrant story that you helped perpetuate. Chink.
With Alan, okay? But that didn't cost the election. The main disinformation was about how the election was going to be rigged. And it wasn't rigged. It was dumb. They won easily. There was no need for that disinformation.
Excuse me. It was too big to rig. That's why.
No,
too big to rig. That's what we did, baby. That's right. Trump 2024, Trump 2025.
You guys are missing the whole point. The people who are at fault are not other people. It is the candidate, Kamala Harris, the previous candidate, Joe Biden, Democratic Party, Democratic leadership. You guys don't want to admit that they're the problem. They're the cancer in the Democratic Party.
To a degree, he's correct here, of course. Literally, the fact that Kamala Harris is like, maybe I'll run again in 2028. Fuck off, bitch. Go away. You had your chance against the weakest possible candidate in, well, American history, maybe, possibly, and you fucked it, big time. You had two options in front of you, and one of them was continue to do a genocide, and the other one was maybe win an election, and you pressed the genocide button. Enjoy your retirement. Going on GB News, then being covered by No Justice. But you know what I was waiting for was this one. By the way, I've just started to stream, so I'm an hour behind, still on the train. Oh, okay. Well, enjoy my analysis of you. And enjoy me saying this if you get this far in about an hour. If you get this far in the stream, let me know by typing... Kev loves pigeons in the comment section on YouTube. Kev loves pigeons.
So you blindly lash out at the voters, at information.
Also, you did really well, Curtis. Good, fucking good get. Good. You're going up in the world. Your arc is good. I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Anyway, you're doing well. Keep it up, champ.
That's social media, and you want to shut down anyone who disagrees with you.
Where's the key when you jiggle the keys?
That's later. You know, that actually didn't make the viral clip, which is really funny because I thought that might do it. Because in the middle, as he was talking, do you have it?
Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah. They pulled it out real.
Previously worked as pragmatic decision-making on whether or not the White House party has governed well enough. And then my analysis is based upon what's changed, what's shattered the pattern of 160 years of history. So I have a...
He's literally memeing on him. He's memeing on him on fucking... Well, not on telly, I suppose, but on like a show. Literally rattling his fucking keys at him. Oh, I mean, Cenk is a prick, and they are trying to do a rightward pivot, but they just occasionally hits the right spot, and he's just dunking on this absolute fool.
Base.
They fucking full panty. God, Pierce is such a piece of shit. Oh my god.
He knows what's good TV.
Oh my god, he is such a dickhead, dude.
Analysis. I'm not just doing Monday morning quarterbacking. Cenk, you need to learn some manners.
That's the best response. That's so good. Like, it's always good when you do something like that and like they get angry. That's nice. But it's the kind of passive-aggressive, like, you need to learn some manners. That's the best response, because that's when they're the angriest. A normal angry, shouty response, like that's the internet, right? It's blood sports, it's whatever. But getting that kind of passive-aggressive thing, that's when they're at their absolute most fucking furious. They are salty as fuck. They are literally the meme of the crying face with the happy mask over it. It's literally that. Fucking beautiful. Thank you, Baron von Cockslap with the super chat. Says, I gave Kev money and now my finger smells. I'm genuinely so happy my parents are technologically even more inept than I am. Like, even more fucking ridiculously inept than I am, and they can't work a computer because I don't need them to hear this shit. Like, it's funny. I love the meme of it all. It's always good fun. But like, imagine having to explain that to my dad. Like, imagine he watched a stream one day just randomly. And then the next day he asks me, so, why were they talking about fingering you, Kev? Imagine that. Imagine that for a second. Fuck. What if your brother shows them? Well, that actually, well, not my brother, but a couple of my cousins who have watched from time to time. And I'll think of two names for them. I'm going to call them Josiah and Iqbal. My cousins Josiah and Iqbal, who individually have watched my stream on occasion, they may be watching now, and if you are, double bird to both of you. I love them dearly, but they are bellends. And they have shown my father a couple of clips of me. One where the crab dance, which then meant I had to explain what the fucking crab dance was and the relevance of that, and he was quite pleased because he was like, oh, you do crab dance, so you celebrate like the death of bad people, and he seemed quite happy with that. And then another one was like a weird out of context clip about something or other. Yeah, but like, he doesn't understand, I don't think, that the words on the screen on the right there are people talking. I don't think he understands the full context of that. I don't know what he thinks is going on there, but I don't think he reads it because I don't think he understands that those are all individual people typing. I think he thinks it's just gobbledygook. Because it might as well be, because he doesn't understand what's going on there. So, like, thankfully, I've not had to explain any of that other shit to him. But, yeah. No, don't put messages that you think my father might see at some point. Because if you start with that shit, I'm going to have to get stabby in Minecraft.
I brought him back. Jingle jangle. Jingle jangle.
Damn, she got 1.2 million.
You say you brought them back, you just have your keys on you because you left your house and at some point intend to return, and therefore you have keys in order to allow yourself to access your house. When you say you brought them back, you just have keys on you. What the fuck does that mean?
Views, dude, goddamn.
Your act is getting really thin.
I mean, brother, I said what was going to go wrong. It did go wrong. I was right. You were wrong in this election spectacularly so with your so-called keys. And now you come and tell us not the Monday morning
unlike you, I'm
quarterback?
willing to admit when I'm wrong.
Are you ever going to learn?
Unlike you.
Why? I actually do that all the time. Anyway, look, they're going to bring this.
No, I didn't get my mum to knit me a crab. Firstly, she doesn't knit, she crochets. There is a difference. And secondly, no, I did not get her to make me any kind of bikini. No. I am a nutter in some respects. I mean, I'm a streamer, so I'm not normal. Anyone who wants to do this, whatever this is a fucking freak. All of us. Whether it's me, Curtis, No Justice, Christy, anyone. Freaks. Hassan, Cenk, all of us. Weirdos. But I'm not that kind of weird. No, crabkini is not a thing. That isn't a thing. Stop it. Who's the babyface? I don't know who that is, actually. Harry Sisson? Don't know who that is. Who is Harry Sisson? Harry Sisson, oh, they have a Wikipedia, is an American progressive left-wing social media influencer known for his policy advocacy on TikTok. Sisson attended New York University. Sisson started posting on TikTok in 2020 while a high school student. Fuck off. If you were in high school in 2020, you are too young. Stop it. His account gained momentum in October of that year after he posted in support of Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. I added the Jr. and the Bidenette. Bidenette? Robinette. During the 2024 presidential campaign, Sisson nearly doubled his social media following. See also Amber Lee Ettinger, Obama girl. Okay, I don't know. He's a liberal, whatever.
So first of all, for now, leave poor Alan Lichtman alone, right?
Yeah.
He's just a civilian, whatever. Who cares? Like, I don't know if it's true that people are swatting or doxing him. That's crazy. Why would you bother with a professor who got it wrong?
Yeah.
That's like totally irrelevant. Now, but they're going to bring him back in 2028. And more accurately, they're going to bring him back in 2028.
President Sunday has a bikini. Firstly, how do you know that? How do you know that President Sunday has a bikini? And do you have evidence that you can show me that is within inside terms of service that is true? Because I am interested in that. Certainly. If it's not safe for work, please do tell me beforehand and I will watch it off stream. Or at least off screen. He's a Democrat TikTok shill. Well, should we have a look at Harry Sisson? I mean, why not? Let's see what he's up to. Harry J. Sisson. Meeting President Biden for the first time.
A lot of great things about you. I hear a lot of great things about you too. That's because you say them. Well, you know what? I was just thinking about this earlier. You make the job very easy because you do a lot of good stuff.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know, at his age, you don't have to deep throat. He's not going to feel it either way.
So, real, you make it. You make
I like
it
this
guy. I like you too, man.
Are you my grandson? Do I know you? Oh, there he is with Obama.
There's an even better chance that I know you. But you're going to do great.
Thank you. Oh, loosen up a little.
Yeah, you look good too.
Thank you. All right. Oh my God, my hand is shaking.
God, it's going to be fun.
My hand is shaking.
All right.
Well, that'd be good for when you wank him off.
Folks, it looks like President Obama is getting ready to help get out the votes.
Harry, why don't you let me handle this one?
You got it.
So I'm about to go out to campaign because the stakes couldn't be higher in this election.
How'd it work out? How'd that work out? We'll see.
We have some major breaking news. Donald Trump is now threatening to impose a 100% tariff on BRICS nations. Now, if you don't know what the BRICS nations are, it's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And on social media today, Donald Trump said the idea that the BRICS countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. We require a commitment from these countries that they will neither...
So he's just going to do imperialism in the same way that all of the others were. What was that about the anti-establishment candidate, Cenk? Also, that kid's pretty annoying. It's pretty annoying. Have you seen Hunter's hog, Kev? I have, and it is massive. It is delightful. But you know what's also good? Helping me eat, because I am obviously wasting away here. And you can do so either by using the reserve currency of choice, the dollar, or whatever denomination you use locally, to subscribe to my channel. Or you can gift memberships to the community. You can subscribe for free with Amazon Prime. You can do bits messages. If you're on YouTube, you can become a member for 99 pence. You can give memberships to the community. You can do super chats. You can. I believe in you. Massive in length or girth or both. A bit of both, actually. He's got a sizable hog. Buy Kev some crab. I assure you I will not be buying crab, because crab is disgusting. Do I accept pieces of 8? Well, considering that those were parts of a Spanish dollar, no, because that is not legal tender anywhere on earth anymore. But I appreciate the thought. It's also where the phrase 2 bits for a quarter comes from. They used to cut an old Spanish silver dollar into 8 bits, and 2 of those bits would be a quarter of a dollar.
Lord Fritters donated $25.
Whoa!
We love the subs, cause they are good to us. The Quiznos subs. They are crunchy, they are tasty. They are warm because they toast them. They got a pepper bar.
That is I don't know what that's a reference to. I don't know what that's a reference to, but I appreciate it nonetheless. Thank you, Lord Fritters, for a very generous donation. I will happily suck you off through a fucking hose pipe. Lefty Conspirator. Hello, Lefty Conspirator. We were shit-talking the Norwegians earlier. Well, the Vikings, some of whom were Norwegian. Or from the bit that is now Norway. You get the idea. Norse. The North Way. Anyway. We love this. Oh, Quiznos subs. Oh, okay, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yes. I suppose a piece of 8 is going to be worth something if you can manage to find where to use it. Well, I mean, it's silver. I don't know what percentage silver, but it is a silver thing, I think.
We love these subs! 'Cause they are good to us! The Quiznos subs! They are tasty, they are crunchy, they are warm because they toast them! They got a pepper bar!
Quiznos new Santa Fe Trio subs with smoky chipotle sauce. Fried chicken, roast beef, or smoked turkey.
The Quiznos subs!
Quiznos.
Not all old memes were good. Like, I will criticise Skibbity Toilet and such for being fucking shit. Meaningless trash. Get better with your memes. But some of the memes were of yore were also fucking dreadful. That ad is real. There's no fucking way that's real. No, it isn't. Stop. No, I do not believe it. You cannot convince me otherwise. No, I will not be taking questions. You haven't watched Skibbity, stay in your lane. I've watched plenty of the Skibbity Riz video fucking toilet bollocks things, and they're shit. Boom, boom, yes. Skibbity, yes. Fuck off. It doesn't mean anything.
27 during the
old man yells at memes.
Primaries.
Yeah.
They're gonna primaries.
They're gonna
we
bring
have a progressive populist, and they have like their corporate douchebag.
No, they're
gonna
bring
be like,
him-
oh, the keys.
No, they're gonna bring him back to talk about how Pete Buttigieg, Josh Shapiro, and gruesome Governor Gavin Newsom are the 3 top contenders. Maybe throw Kamala in there for a spicy people. I think her political career is done.
Oh, can I tell you why they're doing that? So people are now talking about, oh, Kamala Harris might run again, like 41% of Democrats or something. I didn't see the poll, but saying that they might vote for her. Number one, they're saying that because she's famous and she just ran. So that's not a reliable number. But the interesting part is they always say that somebody might run. Like for a while, they put out a rumor after Hillary Clinton lost that Chelsea.
Are the British are known as pirates in Spain? Is that true? Okay, well, I mean, fair enough. Evidence of Professor Sunday's bikini is real in the live chat. Oh, God.
Clinton might run. They do it themselves. Why? It's to increase their market value. Because listen,
Clinton.
I know. Because if Kamala Harris says she's not going to run again, well, then her book is less interesting. She gets less for her speeches because she's not going to be. Right now, though, if she says I might run again, she might be the future president of the United States, even if it's a 10% chance, 20% chance.
Oh, for fuck's... When you said he has a bikini, I thought you meant like he owns a bikini. I thought that's what that meant. But no, what you mean is he sells a bikini? When did he start doing fucking merch? Look at that. That is abominable. Imagine... Oh my God. Imagine going down on a girl and you see that looking at you. Holy shit. That is gruesome. That's quite expensive as well. $64 for a jumper. £64, right, that's quite a lot of money. To be the most dripless motherfucker on campus. No, thank you.
Goldman Sachs and Raytheon are all going to pay
Whoa,
her.
whoa. Let's not have any shit talking of Raytheon. Okay? I'm a company man. Yeah?
For huge speeches, the book is going to sell more, etc. You're more marketable if you say you might run again. That's why they literally do it as a business tactic. So she's not going to run again. I got a bold prediction for you guys. Head of USC, President, Dean, whatever of USC at some point, because she doesn't want any piece of this. She's so nervous.
She's not very good at this.
She's not good at it. She doesn't want to do it.
As we found out in 2019, and once again, this time around as well.
Yeah, she's got no business running. She didn't want to run. She sucks at it. All she has is talking points.
Well, you say she didn't want to run. I mean, she literally did in 2020, right? Like, she literally did. She wanted to be candidate and failed. She said that Joe Biden was like a corrupt sexual abuser or whatever, and then became his vice presidential pick. Grim times.
Points. That's why I said do a real primary, but of course all the Democratic leadership yelled, no real primaries, we anoint.
In the interest of fairness, this is where I also was, well, I'll explain my position, but I also said that I think the open primary process would spell chaos and disorder for the Democratic Party, especially so close to the actual election. And I thought because she was a blank slate, that there was an opportunity there to fill that.
We demand Kev Keeney merch. Well, you can demand all you like. You are not getting. Oh, Nick. Absolutely lovely work. Everyone say hello to Dale. Say hello. Absolute legend. Look at that. What a perfect lad. What a fine specimen. Beautiful. Everyone go and follow Nick on Blue Sky for awesome cat-related chicanery.
That blank slate with actually somewhat good policies. Even if she's not charismatic herself, she could have still, especially after she got locked in with Tim Walz, I was like, oh, this is great. She's going to be forced to like have to defend some of these positions and inevitably maybe even move
Also,
away.
Pupper. Big fucking massive pupper in the background there. There you go.
away from the tack to the right attitude that the Democrats usually have. Of course, I kept warning over and over again, if she does that, she's going to lose. And she did do that, and she lost. So
but look, here's the thing.
But yes, an open primary, I think, would have put forth possibly. I mean, would have put forth a stronger candidate regardless.
Yeah.
But we also don't know like how chaotic that process would have looked like as well.
Who cares? So let's just break it down one by one. You agree that Biden should have withdrawn like a year and a half ago?
I agree that Biden should have picked a better VP candidate that he knew was going to be the transitional.
Can we also like give the right wing a tiny bit of credit here? I mean, they go too far when they say she's just a DEI hire. She was the Attorney General of California.
What a surprise! Cenk wants to give a bit of credit to the right wing. This is totally not part of his rightward shift at all. This is a perfectly legitimate thing. What a good faith human being he is.
She was a senator. But was she picked because she was a black woman? Of course she was picked because she was a black woman.
I mean, Biden said that was the real reason why she not only picked. I'll take it one step further. It's not even Kamala Harris that frustrates me about that. It's the fact that Biden said that about Ketanji Brown Jackson, who literally is more deserving of a Supreme Court appointment than most of the other Supreme Court justices, and he still fucked the bag up by turning around and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm picking a black woman, Jack," and it was fucking nutty because like that's the first time we've had a public defender sit on the top court. Like that was not a DEI hire in the way that conservatives mention it.
So do you know that I'm against affirmative action? I've always been against affirmative action. And
wait, really?
Yeah, and the reason
I did not know that.
Yeah, the reason is because Ketanji Brown Jackson is an excellent Supreme Court justice who's perfectly qualified. So is Sonia Sotomayor. But the minute that any minority, by the way, including us, it's any position of power, respect, etc., what does everybody do? I just got it because they're black. They just got to be.
They do that anyway, you fucking idiot. Why are you accepting the right-wing framing of this? They would say that anyway. Like, there are legitimate arguments against, like, preferential treatment to balance out historic wrongs, and I get that. There are genuine progressive arguments for that. Cenk is not making that argument very well at all.
Because there's
no, I think that's
and you think that's just a right wing thing, but it isn't. It gets into everyone's head.
No, I understand where you're coming from, but I respectfully disagree. I think that is like ultimately caving in and capitulating to right wing framing on the issue. The affirmative
literally, that's just what I said. Yeah.
Action conversation has always been a band-aid solution to like significantly more consequential racial dynamics in this country that have never been addressed at all. And I've always looked at things from a class position regardless, and like the real affirmative action is legacy admissions.
100%. Like, we even have a petition on tyt.com to end legacy petitions, because if you're against affirmative action, you have to be against affirmative action for super rich dudes whose dad went to Princeton or gave Princeton $1 million.
George W. Bush going to Yale, you know?
Yeah, that's totally bullshit. And by the way, you know who else was an affirmative action pick? Joe Biden. Because Obama picked him because he was an old white guy. He's like,
old
I
racist,
don't really care.
Old racist white guy who
by
has
the
like
way,
gas.
you know that with absolute certainty, because in his final list, he had a big list in the beginning, but in the final list, it was only old white men, because they knew they had to balance the ticket because he was a young African American. So let's not pretend that they didn't pick on demographic information.
No, but
Obama did, and so did Biden.
Yeah, but also it doesn't work in that direction regardless, because like obviously the underlying sentiment is that like affirmative action is not the reason why people think black people are undeserving of their position in society. They already thought that, and now they're using affirmative action to continue to compound on that argumentation.
But it does compound, and I hate that it compounds because it's not true.
I'm more like the process itself in terms of like affirmative action in general, albeit is still, like I said, not a good solution to systemic racism and inequality that persists, and black people being consistently underserved in American society.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I like that AOC is like making moves, and that's good. But like, I don't think she's ever going to be president. Like, the right wing have done what they did to Hillary Clinton to an extent, and they've gotten their claws into her so early that, like, there's too much of a well of, like, suspicion and hatred towards her. I think she's sort of, in terms of being nationally electable, I don't think that's possible anymore. That's not to say someone with her politics can't become president. I think that is perfectly plausible, but not someone who's got, like, baggage, I guess. Even though she doesn't deserve to have baggage, she hasn't done anything wrong. She did a dance. Ooh. I don't want her to be president. Ain't no way there's going to be a woman president. No, I think there could be a woman president. You've got to bear in mind, like, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by like 4 million fucking votes. Statistically, it's almost impossible to have done that and still lost, and she did. So the idea that America would never vote for a woman president, it clearly isn't true. They basically did with Hillary Clinton. And it's just a statistical fluke in places like Wisconsin that she didn't.
Even now,
yeah,
even when I recognize that it's still not, like, you know, anything that moves the needle in an appropriate direction is fine. Like, I don't have an issue with it, especially if it's like, for example, making colleges more diverse in general. That's a good thing. I don't think that's a bad thing at all, because I do agree with college administrators when they say that America is a diverse country and that we want our student body population to be more representative of the country as a whole. Yeah. And I think that actually makes it a more, like, these are some of my most, like, rad lib takes, I would say, but I do think that actually makes it a better learning environment in general. When you're a kid from the countryside that has never really encountered black people other than, like, seeing black people and black culture on television, when you actually go to college and you're in a dorm and, you know, your dorm mate is a black person.
It's literally true. I've sort of experienced this in my own life. I knew a guy who was basically a fucking racist. And I sort of drifted away from him for a long time, and then I got to know him a little bit again a few years later, and he was sort of quite a changed person. And I asked him, like, what the fuck had happened, and he basically said, like, having gone to work and you exist, because his particular hatred was towards Muslims anyway. And before anyone says that's a religion, not a race, eat my dick. And he basically said, like, you go to work and there were loads of Muslims there, and eventually you sort of realise, oh, actually they're not really that different, and that racism doesn't really work. That was literally a phrase he used to me. He was, the racism just doesn't work in the real world. And it's true. If you exist around people for long enough, you realise, oh, actually they're not fucking mental. They're not all Osama bin Laden, you know? They're just people getting on with their fucking lives.
Person, for the first time you're actually encountering and developing interpersonal relationships with people that you otherwise never would have. So, and I think that makes for a better learning environment.
So two things about that. Look, as you were talking, I came up with an analogy here. Let's see how it goes. I view affirmative action as kind of a counterproductive Band-Aid on a wound. So the right wing says the wound doesn't exist. No, I think the wound does exist. I just don't think that the Band-Aid is the right solution, right? Because what the Band-Aid is doing is it's covering up the wound and not letting it breathe and not letting it heal.
You're a bit of an accelerationist.
Okay, so
in that regard,
well, it's very different accelerations.
No,
And
but
so,
that is
but I'm
what-
not trying to accelerate racism. I'm trying to end racism.
That's what pure Marxist-Leninists say about the welfare state.
Okay,
it's a
not interested in
Band-Aid.
that.
It's a Band-Aid continuation of, like, of.
Yeah, but they're wrong. That's a completely different topic.
Okay, I'm just saying.
So, I got you. So, but in this case, so constantly reaffirming and reaffirming, we should think about race. We should think about race. We should characterize everyone on race. That doesn't help defeat racism. It perpetuates racism. So I think it's a terrible...
The real racists are the anti-racists. Okay, Cenk, cool.
Terrible idea. I hate that we view ourselves separately based on different categories, race, gender, sexual orientation, etc.
Yeah, you don't see colour, Cenk, we know.
It doesn't mean that there isn't there aren't things that are going wrong now. It doesn't mean that there isn't systemic racism. It means that there's a better way to address it. And then in terms of the diversity, look, I would do not affirmative action, but whatever is the appropriate way to put a thumb on a scale, but for acceptance into schools based on class, not on race. And it's not because of class dynamics and I don't want the rich to go to good schools, etc. No, I'm saying that if you came from a poor background, I don't give a goddamn if it's from the hollers of West Virginia or your black kid in the Bronx. If you rose up and got great scores and great grades in a situation like that, you are more likely to be successful. It's not just that it gives you diversity.
Right, dickhead. Firstly, the education system, because of things like the fact that if you're in a richer area, your school gets more money, is already set up to enhance class. So the idea that it needs to be done purely on a meritocracy, if you get better grades, you go to the better school, that isn't going to stop racism. That isn't even really going to make much of a dent in the issue. We know that black people, as a social group in America, have very, very little by way of generational wealth, which means they have less good schools in their areas. They're quite redlined still in major cities in America. So if you just say the best kids with the best grades go to the best schools, that it won't actually change much. It'll still just be white kids, and largely upper middle class white kids going to the best schools. Not because they're more smart, because the education system is literally set up in a way that is racist already. If you had any materialist analysis, you would understand this. But you're just a shitlib. You're just a shitlib bordering on a rightoid that's trying to do a conservative pivot. And that's sad.
Diversity.
Unk is Confucianism pilled.
Okay, I'm what pilled?
Confucianism pilled.
Okay, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, no, you wanna. Yeah, this is once again, Jenkins, Dengus, rise up. You know, you want a Chinese
talk about just. Well, I heard about those rumors, but I don't want to know. Did Dennis Prager die? I don't think so. I didn't hear anything. I'll go to my 24-hour live feed. He's had surgery. No, apparently he's fine. He's still alive, apparently, as of yesterday.
Style
meritocracy,
pure meritocracy, pure meritocratic approach. Now the problem with that when you have underserved communities consistently, you got to put your thumb on the scale in a certain place, because we don't have true equality of opportunity in this country, and obviously people like yourself and myself, that's what we're advocating for. Republicans will
true Portals, fucking true. He was never truly alive. He's always been dead inside.
Around and bastardize that critique it by saying you want equality of outcome. We don't want equality of outcome.
No, I
we
definitely
want
don't
true
want
equality of opportunity. And when there's no true equality of opportunity,
my favourite, and it still is, oh my god, my favourite ever PragerU video was the one about Dennis Prager. Where is the video? Why wouldn't that be the one that came up anyway? They literally did a video about...
It's Thanksgiving week.
Shut the fuck up, prick. They did a video. They got one of their people to do a video about Dennis Prager. And it's from a couple of years ago. I'm going to have to scroll back now. Fuck. I hope they didn't take it down. And it was like the biggest dick riding endeavour I've ever fucking seen in my life. It was mind blowing. Where is it? Come on. Come on. Hang on. It was called Who is Dennis Prager, isn't it? Who is... Hello? Here we go. God, is it really from 6 years ago? Jesus fucking Christ. Get ready for the biggest gob job you've ever seen in your life. This guy is fucking tragic.
Who is Dennis Prager? And why do so many people love him?
What an opener! What an opening sentence. What a fucking belter.
As the producer of the Dennis Prager radio show and the co-founder and executive director of Prager University, I have given this second question a lot of thought. Here is my answer. Luck. Unadulterated. Good fortune. Or it could be this. Through his radio show, his writing, and now PragerU, he changes the way you live. For the better. He makes you a better person, a better father, a better son, a better mother, a better daughter.
Is he talking about like fucking Jesus or some shit now? What the fuck is this?
Name another public figure who does that.
No.
So let's return to the first question. Who is Dennis Prager? Born in Brooklyn, New York on August 2nd, 1948, he is the second son of Max and Hilda Prager, two worldly Orthodox Jews. Max, a World War II vet, was an accountant, and Hilda, a nursing home administrator. Both were movie star handsome. In fact,
movie star handsome. This reminds me of like some North Korea shit. Like, you know how they have to like big up not just Mao, but like Mao's parents. Well, that's China, not North Korea. But you know what I mean? Like in those kind of communist propaganda bits. Like, he's literally glazing up Prager's mom and dad. Movie star handsome. What the fuck are you talking about? How did their seed create such a fucking lump as Dennis Prager then?
In fact, if the stars had been different...
Was she knocking off a fucking spud on the side or something? What happened?
Differently aligned, Hilda could have been an actress. She had the looks and the personality.
What are you talking about?
Speaking of stars, Dennis's sign is Leo, which makes you want to believe in astrology. It's one of those little ironies that Dennis barely spoke a word until he was almost 4, but of course, once he started, he never stopped. He didn't like school. To keep himself from being bored, he learned to spell backwards. He was the class clown. He was sent to the principal's office so often, the secretary named a chair after him. He did the minimum amount of homework. And
He's such a rebel. He had a chair named after him. Fucking kill me.
In his case, this meant 0. In a class of 110 high school students, he graduated number 82. But he was always scrupulously ethical and honest. Cheating was rampant at the religious school he attended. He mounted a campaign against it. You'd think everyone would hate him for that, but they didn't. He was too charming, too charismatic, too principled. No one could, no one can remain mad at Dennis for long.
It literally is he talking about Kim? Is he talking about Kim Jong-un? Did Dennis Prager also get fucking 10 holes in one?
Get to fuck, Nick, I'm not playing with all these mutants. Get to fuck.
Hello there, James from the internets. How are you? Everyone go and follow James from the internet, obviously. Everyone should hit the follow button. Just fucking do it. It's free. It's fucking free. Just fucking do it, dickheads.
When he was a sophomore, Max and Hilda made a bold decision. The traditional parenting model clearly wasn't working, so they offered their second son a deal. He had to be at the Shabbat dinner table every Friday,
Shabbat,
but
we
otherwise
get
he was
it.
on
We
his
get it. Shabbat, yes, we get it. He's a Jewish guy. We get it.
own. They gave him a modest allowance and set him loose. Manhattan became his playground. Classical music became his passion. That and all things Russian. He studied them both on his own. That same sophomore year, he met his lifelong friend, Joseph Telushkin. Their endless religious discussions eventually became a book, The 9 Questions People Ask About Judaism. Still the standard text for those who want to learn the basic principles of the faith. Remarkably, every book Dennis has written is still in print and still selling. At the time, though, the future didn't look promising. Dennis's grades were so bad that his only college option was Brooklyn College, simply because Brooklyn would take anybody. But it turned out to be the perfect choice. He won an essay contest. The prize was a scholarship to study abroad at Leeds College in England.
Oh, no. Oh, I apologise to the entirety of the world for helping to inflict Dennis Prager on you. I am so sorry. I hope Leeds has been flattened.
Ladies and gentlemen,
as compensation to humanity. Thank you T-2011 for a couple of gifted subs, and thank you Dirty Dish. Welcome to the Kevolution. If someone else gives a sub and or does 100 bitty bits, we get onto a hype train, which would make me moist.
While there, he was contacted by the Israeli government. They needed someone to smuggle Jewish artifacts into the Soviet Union. And
is anyone surprised he worked for the genocidal apartheid state? Anyone?
Ladies and gentlemen,
no?
We got him.
Crazy, I know.
Smuggle out names of those Jews who wanted to emigrate to Israel. It wasn't John le Carré dangerous, but real risk was involved. Dennis accepted the mission. When he returned to the U.S., he was asked by various Jewish groups to talk about his experience. He's been traveling 131 countries and counting, and lecturing ever since.
Think of all those fucking plane rides and not one of them crashed. It really is the safest form of transport.
Now living in Los Angeles, his public speaking and deep involvement in Jewish life led to an offer to host a Sunday night radio show called Religion on the Line. Radio was the perfect medium for a non-stop thinker, non-stop talker.
Pandinus has a meme. I want a kitty bonk.
Pandinus has a meme. Well, where's Pandinus's meme? I'm scrolling back. I can't see Pandinus's meme. I can't see the meme. Also, we're on a hype train. If we get to level 2 of the hype train, I will finger this guy's self-respect because it died a long time ago. We're Pandinus. Can you link it again, please, mate?
With a theory on everything from baseball to Beethoven. That he had the perfect radio voice makes the whole thing seem...
The perfect radio voice? What are you talking about, you fucking creep? You dead-eyed lunatic. You fucking ghoul. Jesus H. Cunting Christ. Yeah, bits and subs for the hype train. Will make it go choo-choo, which will make me moist. Oh, my sweet Jesus. Oh... Why is my mouth perfectly, like, placed as well? Oh, you fucking monster. What am I looking at? Pandinus, which is how I'm going to pronounce it from now on. It's not Pandinus anymore, it's Pandinus. You heard the robot voice. Fucking Christ! Look at the angst in my eyes on the pussy section. Like it's just fuck me dead. Your mouth is a vagina, Kiv. Thank you, thank you, Lefty Conspirator. Does my mouth only have 2 holes? I don't know how it works. I'm buying one. These are not for sale. I refuse. You do not have my likeness image rights.
Part of a divine plan. The Sunday night radio show quickly became a Saturday and Sunday night show, which soon became a Monday through Friday show. Among Dennis's fans was Hollywood writer-director David Zucker of Airplane and Naked Gun fame. He had the idea for a sketch comedy about Dennis's ideas about goodness, but he needed someone to work with Dennis on the script. I turned out to be that someone. Working on what became, for goodness sake, changed my life. 10 years later, I began producing Dennis's now nationally syndicated radio show.
True.
Dennis already had a large audience, but the goal has always been to make it larger and younger.
Like, there's no way this guy doesn't let Dennis Prager fuck his wife, right? Like, this guy definitely has ploughed Dennis Prager's wife lots of times, and Dennis Prager cleans up afterwards, right? No, Dennis Prager does the fucking and he cleans up afterwards. He's a cock. I'm suggesting he's a massive cock.
Because that's the future. It was from this thought that Prager University was born. An internet
phenomenon that was funded by dark money. Brilliant.
Phenomenon. It has vastly expanded Dennis's reach both geographically and demographically. Over 300 videos from over 100 presenters and over 1 billion views later.
Most of which you have bought by making them adverts. So that even when you click skip, that still counts as a view. You have bought your way into almost relevance, I guess.
With an audience that is mostly under 35, PragerU has changed a lot of minds. But there
No,
are
it
many
hasn't. No, it hasn't. Nobody is convinced by PragerU. It's a waste of rich people's money. And probably, let's be honest, a tax write-off.
still need to get to. Enough to change the country, maybe the world, for the better. One person at a time, 5 minutes at a time. Think about it. At age 70, Dennis's career is on the ascendant.
His heart rate isn't.
Pure luck. I'm Alan Estrin for Prager University.
Honestly, get some self-respect, you fucking loser.
When black communities are consistently underserved, when you look at the Chicago public school system that is 90% of the state of Illinois' like black and brown student body
But class
population
takes care of that.
being
Stop it.
consistently underserved, you are getting to a point where people are not being propped up. People are not being propped up to succeed in this process. So I think like you're right, analyzing it from the class.
True, cognizant, and you should hit the follow button. You're a first-time chatter. Don't be a stranger.
Position is good because even though...
And what noise happened? Noises happened. Thank you, Chai T Rex, for following. 16 months, much fucking love to you. And we did get to level 2, so I've got to go and finger that bald guy. That's a sentence I just said.
Oh, there's a racial dynamic and the racial disparity that exists in the American normal order of business. The violence or the inequalities, the structural inequalities are still dished out on a class-based perspective.
Yeah, I mean, the hollers in Kentucky don't have great public schools either. So they also had to overcome a lot, right? So, like, saying that a black guy at Exeter should get an advantage, but a white kid in the middle of Missouri who's going to a shit public school too.
No, but the point is, Cenk, you fucking stupid cunt, get some materialist analysis. You're looking at it from completely the wrong end. By the time they've exited the public school system, it's too late to, like, then just do, like, oh, it's a completely fair race. Everyone that got to this point is absolutely justified, blah, blah, blah. No. Why are there any kids going to shit schools? Be they white kids from Alabama or black kids from fucking New York or whatever. Why? Why is it that all of the good schools are in white areas, by and large? There are systemic material conditions to this. There should be no people going to shit schools. Not, well, there are some white kids and some black kids that go to shit schools, so fuck it. Let's not change anything. Like, you're just a fucking lib. You're just a really terrible lib. Fucking idiot. Get a fucking clue.
Should not get an advantage. That makes no sense at all.
I don't think that that's what people are advocating for, though. I mean, I don't know.
They're
I'm not
literally advocating for that.
100%. I'm not advocating for that. I don't know
So
what
that's
you
why
mean.
I'm against-
I don't think people who are. I don't think that like black activist groups are saying like, no, fuck the poor white people. Like, I don't.
No, but they're saying give an advantage based on race, not class. And I'm saying I 100% disagree with that.
Okay. Well, again, Band-Aid solution.
Okay,
regardless.
so back to Biden and Harris. So we both agree Biden.
I just want to get to the bits where Cenk flips out and starts blaming the left for everything. That's literally all I want to watch now. Do we have timestamps? Has anyone done timestamps for this? I don't know. Let's just gonna skip ahead and say
Massive Jim Crow laws. If you deny that and you think, oh no, black people got perfect opportunity in 1940s and 20s and 60s in the South, you're just in a different planet, so there's no point in talking to you, right? So they're at a massive disadvantage, to say the least. They can't get in. And the longshoremen, I get it. Their instinct is, I want to give my job to my son. It's a good job. It pays well, right? So I want to pass it on to my son. Now, at some point, you have to use affirmative action in the beginning to break through that. Because if you allow that to happen, black people are never going to be able to break through, right? You've got to, in the beginning, say, look, we're taking action based on race because the discrimination was based on race. But if you do that forever, you never break the racial paradigm, right? We're always thinking about race and we're always separating based on race. So it can't be forever. It can't be never. So then the question becomes, when do you end affirmative action? And we started in the 1960s. Here we are in 2024. If it hasn't worked by now, I got news for you. It ain't never going to work.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
that's
the wrong
also
solution to a real problem.
But that's also because like it's not. It has.
It's painful listening to this dullard, this fucking cretin, say things. Just say words with his face. Like, I so don't care. All right, let's skip forward to this bit.
Women.
Yeah. So you see what I'm saying? That you could do it in a way that where middle America goes, oh, I get it. That sucks. That was an injustice. And we're trying a small thing here to make up for the injustice so that it at a minimum, symbolically, to say, thank you, brothers and sisters, for putting up with this shit. Like, I know you didn't do it voluntarily, but you helped build this country, and we appreciate you. So get on a page where we understand each other and appreciate each other instead of framing it as I'm taking from you. You owe me, and I'm taking from you, right? So that perpetuates a wrong cycle. Whereas but in order to do that, Haas, last thing on it is you've got to have like truth and reconciliation, just like South Africa did. Here's all the fucked up shit we did.
South Africa's, South Africa's Reconstruction period also was not a great.
But
success
truth and
either.
reconciliation was excellent. So that portion of it was great because they said, here's all the terrible things we did. Guys, it doesn't mean that white people today are racist.
Well, I mean, it does, in a sense, because they still are. Literally, Trump tried to rewrite history. This was the 1619 project. No, what was it called? The 1776 project. Was literally his attempt and right-wing America's attempt to rewrite American history. And that's what they actually believe. Like, most of them think that Manifest Destiny was a good idea. You still hear people going on about slavery was actually better for the blacks. Like, you hear them say these things. It's not only is America not on board with doing a truth and reconciliation, they're not even at the stage where they realise that something wrong ever happened. Now, don't get me wrong, there are lots of people in America that do understand that. But clearly tens of millions who don't, because they just elected the guy who, like, is the most profoundly racist guy that's been in that office since people could be owned. Well, outside of prisons, they've always been allowed to be owned in prisons, but it's a different matter.
It doesn't mean white people today are awful. It doesn't mean all white people are the same. It doesn't mean any of that.
No, it's just coincidental that white people are awful. Yeah.
What it means is in the past, there were terrible things that were done. And here's us trying to make up for it in some small way that the country agrees to and we're all on board for. And a sincere apology and a sincere thank you. And now, from now on, let's move forward. Let's move forward and cut all the talk of like race this and race that and gender this and gender that from both sides, by the way. The right wing starts more identity politics than the left wing does. So now the right wing...
I'm not sure, should I ask this? Because I recognised your name, Ellie, in chat, right? And it said you were previously subbed for 10 months. Now, thank you for your support there. But I did just want to ask, was there a specific reason why you stopped supporting me? Again, I'm not trying to shame anyone. I'm not trying to be like, you have to give me money or anything like that. The fact that anyone is even here listening is fucking awesome, and I love you for it. But I'm just sort of curious. I'm always like, when people come and go, I can't control that, and I have no real say over that, because, it happens. Regulars have existed and then gone, and you don't know, like, if they just stopped watching you, if they're fucking dead, if they're in prison, you have no idea what they're up to. But I'm just sort of curious. If you want to opine, you can just ignore this, but if you wanted to inform me about that so I'm better understanding of what happened and whatever. Times are fucking rough, that is absolutely true, and that would be a perfectly legitimate reason to not support. Oh, don't do this again. Why are you sending me the thing again? Don't pin that. I don't need this. You know what? I get it. I get why you would stop supporting me financially, because this thing exists. Yeah. I trimmed my subs a while back. I'm trying to buy a house. I'm not back often. Oh, well, that's fair enough, LA. Yeah, perfectly legitimate. but I would buy that. No, don't do that, for God's sake. Don't encourage these fucking degenerates.
Guys their heads will explode. What do you mean? You guys try to find wedge issues on every fucking thing, and then you go more and more extreme. And I think you guys, Haas, fall into that trap way too often. We'll get to that later.
Wait, let's get to it now.
Okay.
What do you mean by that?
So you know what we're going to talk about, the trans issues. So,
hey, bonus hole, let's go.
On trans issues, as an example, over 60% of Americans agree. Of course, they should have the same constitutional rights, same rights to housing, employment, rules against discrimination, etc. Does 1/3 of the country disagree? Yeah, sad day for them. 2/3 of the country agrees trans people should be protected. I'm 100% on board for that, right? And if you're a right winger and you go, no, man, they're weird, they're different, they're blah, 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 and I'm going to hate them. Well, good luck to you, brother. I'm not going to hate them, and I'm going to protect them, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But so that didn't work for them.
Maybe protect them from your co-host? You know, the birthing person. What's her name? Bonus Hole McGee. I forgot her name, anyway. You should protect them from her, because she's a pretty hateful piece of shit. Thank you, Ethan, for gifting 10 memberships. Much love. Also, I will just, because we don't need to hear that noise 10 times. There we go. But thank you for that. That's very generous. I will happily do your bidding.
So they went digging. So then they go, okay, we should ban trans people from the military.
Did you read the New York Times article I told you to read?
No, it's a joke. I didn't literally forget Anna Kasparian's name. I was just wanted to call her Bonus Hole McGee. Because fuck it, why not?
The last time we had this conversation? About,
I'm not sure I did.
About how, okay, so...
You know they went digging.
Yeah, so what you're describing is...
Bonus Hole McGee would be what in Bizarro World, where J.K. Rowling wasn't a TERF, and she was like really pro-trans, it's what she would call a cis character in her book, would be Bonus Hole McGee. That's what that would be. Like, they're really obviously like cis woman character.
I was explaining to you that the Christian groups, the right-wing Christian nationalist groups, in the aftermath of the failed initiative to do a trans bathroom bill in North Carolina, at a time when Donald Trump was pro-trans, openly stating he was pro-trans, openly...
How would I even go about making a bikini? Journeying Jordan, God bless you, right? You can ask for a bikini, but even if I had any interest in making a bikini, how the fuck would I even go about doing that? I wouldn't know where to start with that. I don't make clothing. I don't have merch. I don't even have a website. I've got nothing. I'm not emotionally, technologically, artistically set up to produce this thing you want. So even if I wanted to, even if I had, like, let's say for instance I was really enthusiastic to do it, I still couldn't. The fact that I'd rather like pull out my own fucking nails with the pliers, like I then do this. There are websites where you upload your image and can make it into merch. Oh no, don't make it sound easier than it is, or than I can do it. It sounds like a skill issue. Yes, you know what, Journey Jordan? It is a skill issue. I am bad. My skills are inappropriate for this task. Yes. Digital art set. Oh, for fuck's sake. No. Oh, you people are mental. You know what? If someone else wants to set it up and use my image, by all means, we'll donate money to charity or something. But like, I'm not fucking doing it. 8-foot shower curtain of Kev's face. Who the fuck would want that? Who would want this? No one wants these things. You are playing with me. You are toying with me. You are poking my bumhole with lies. Lies! For some reason the Discord thing, the command there doesn't work, but can someone get a Discord link for Ellie in Elise, whatever, in chat, please. King-size bedspread, no one wants that. Imagine trying to sleep with my face. Oh, God, no. Someone would end up fucking on my face. Oh, I don't want it. I don't want back shots on my face. Image rights obtained. There you go, yeah.
Criticizing the North Carolina legislation, saying leave it as it is, nobody cares. Caitlyn Jenner can piss in whichever bathroom she wants to piss in as long as she's pissing in Trump Tower. When all this stuff was happening, there was definitely a different attitude overall. I think part of that was because just like you also recognize, most Americans, like, they just think trans people are being discriminated against and unjustly. And the other reason was because it just seemed like cruel and unusual for no particular reason. So what these Christian family groups did was go back to the drawing board and, hire the likes of, maybe Frank Luntz didn't personally involve himself in this one, but like people like Frank Luntz that would go and focus group and test different messages.
Yep.
And they arrived at two key points that were resilient. Americans don't necessarily care about trans issues all that much, but they do care about meritocracy. And what is the one place where there's true meritocracy in the eyes of many Americans? Now, there's, still not perfect meritocracy, but sports. Sports is the one area where if you
Americans claim to support meritocracy, and yet they are the most unequal society that has ever existed. Ever. They claim to love freedom, and yet have the largest actual and per capita prison population ever. What the American people claim to support and what they actually support are two very, very different things. As we can see from the fact that they consistently vote against things that they claim to support. If they actually did believe these things, they wouldn't elect Donald Trump. Fuck, if they believe those things, they wouldn't elect Joe Biden or Kamala Harris either. They're liars. The American dream is just that, a figment of their imagination. It is a dream. It is an illusion, a fake version of reality.
Dominate. Oh, if you're good, you're gonna dominate. If you're dominant, then you're gonna get elevated, right? So they packaged anti-trans sentiment with sports and specifically children's sports, right? And that is where we arrive at what 60% of the country, or even larger percentages than that, don't think trans women should be participating.
Zelensky's going to appear on Lex Friedman's podcast. Okay, that's interesting. Because I heard that he wanted to go on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan is so bitch made that he went, nah. I mean, I literally talked to Alex Jones because free marketplace of ideas, but not the democratically elected leader of Ukraine. No, that's terrible. Fucking end me, man. Jesus Christ. Lex is going to Ukraine. That makes sense.
Participating in sports with cis women, specifically trans girls, competing in athletic endeavors with cis girls.
Yeah. So that's exactly my point, Haas. And when they laid that trap, first of all, the right wing should acknowledge that was identity politics being played by the right wing. The right wing did the polls. They did the studies. They were looking for something that the American people would hate about the left, about trans people, about LGBTQ people. When you go looking and searching
and you literally you play into this constantly, Cenk. You piece of poop. Hello there, Miss Rebe, or Reeb, possibly, not sure. Thank you for subscribing with Prime. A new subscriber, Reno. There are none so welcome as the sinner who repents. I don't know what that means, but welcome.
Digging for on identity. Don't tell me you're not doing identity politics.
No, this
That's
is
exactly what you're doing.
identity politics, and the right does it all the time. Now, listen, here's the
good night, Leckers. Enjoy your Dutch sleep.
The thing, okay? you understand this to be a distraction. Like, you recognize that it's a distraction, which is why I don't think either of us are saying that this should be the pivotal, this should play a pivotal role in the top of the line messaging of the Democratic Party, which is that, like, no, trans women have to compete with cis women. I don't think anyone is making that argument at all.
No.
But I think we should, it would serve us both well to openly recognize, and I think you do as well, that this hyper focusing on, trans athletes at the high school level all the way to the collegiate level is a distraction that most Americans might have an opinion on, but don't necessarily care about. It's not a major driver of turnout. It's not something that people go out and vote for.
I don't agree.
No. Okay. Well, we can have that argument.
So he is literally doing the right-wing thing of, it was the transes. Yeah, the transes were the problem. Like, when I said earlier he was doing, or I sort of joked about him doing class reductionism or whatever, he really is just like, no, we're gonna drop all of those icky minorities because we need to get neoliberals voted in. Cool, very cool. This is the left, is it, in America? This is your left. No, thankfully it isn't. He isn't on the left, but you get the point.
In a second, I will explain it to you why I don't think it's a real issue. Part of the reason why is that it's just simply not a real issue because do you know the number of trans athletes nationally?
So I know that
under the collegiate level?
No, it's microscopic.
It's
That's
40.
why.
The number is 40.
Yeah, and so like 20
Good night,
states,
seamstress.
20 red states passed a law against transgender girls participating in high school sports, and they couldn't name one transgender girl in their state that participated in high school sports.
Yes.
So that's exactly my point. We start with agreement.
Even Spencer
So the fact that you and Bonus Hole have been fucking talking about this for 2 years, about how this is really bad and fucking awful and tragic, you realise it's not an issue. Or that it's only being made an issue by right-wing culture warriors and that you are feeding into that by being reactionary scumfucks. Cool.
Fox vetoed the bill in Utah originally.
Utah!
And he actually wrote like a pretty compelling argument as to why he was vetoing it. And governors like Andy Bashar have actually won by higher margins after openly defending trans people in the past in a state like Kentucky, for example.
So look, we start with a point of agreement, which is that the right wing uses a wedge issue to drive a wedge between us.
Mhm.
They go looking for it, and they do it based on identity politics.
Okay.
So we totally agree on that. We totally agree that it's a microscopic issue that affects almost no one in the country. Okay.
Mhm.
So when we don't have paid
Also, I don't
family,
even think
we don't
that's
have
true.
health care for everyone. This is bullshit.
I don't even
This
think
is
that's
meant
true.
to distract us.
I don't
we
even think
disagree
it does
on
impact
how to
people.
react to it.
It does actually impact a lot of cis women. There's more cis women than there are trans women, and there are a lot of young girls that this could technically impact because now you have bills like the one in Ohio, the penis
fuck is that?
inspection bills.
Penis inspection bills. Fuck me. What a world to live in. Jesus Christ. We're going to keep people safe by allowing adults to check out your kids' junk. Cool. I'm sure that won't be abused.
The one that they have in Ohio, where like one of the parents from the opposing team could be like, "That's a trans girl, actually," and then they have to.
Well, hang on. So they're going to allow people to throw a flag on the gender of their opponent? You get 2 challenges every game. You throw the pink flag to challenge the legitimacy of the gender of one of your opponents. Fucking, well, they go to the TV monitor and they have to check out the junk of their fucking kid. The fuck? The challenge from Ridgeway High School is overturned. This kid definitely has a pussy. It's fine. Like, what the fuck? What kind of insane shit is this?
To literally go and traumatize this like young girl who in many instances is not statistically it is highly unlikely that person is trans to begin with.
So
and
look, again,
it ends
but
up
Haas,
harming cis women even more than it ends up harming trans women.
So that's look. I said this exact same point on trigonometry, and
the fact that you went on trigonometry is enough, Cenk. You fucking tragic bitch.
Their audience hated it, but this is the reality. The reason I make a distinction between high school and professional sports is because in high school, what you're saying is, like Ohio, if I really want to institute this, even though it affects almost no trans or cis girls, if in the world in Ohio as it is,
Like
but if I go to implement it, now I got to check everybody's genitals, and there's got to be a genital checker, right? And let me guess, tons of Republican older men are going to volunteer to check the genitals of our high school kids, and I hate it. I don't want it. It's like a groomer pervert factory. And
yeah, it's literally a license to like molest kids, basically. It's basically a get out of jail free card for the GOP to touch up little kids. That's what that is. Which is why the GOP love it, of course. It will save several of their voters losing their vote by being sent to jail for diddling kids. Study of trans athletes concludes blanket sports bans are a mistake. The lead researcher of the landmark IOC-funded study looking at strength and power and aerobic capacity of trans athletes tells Outsports the Sports Federation should consider its findings carefully. Well, of course, all of the actual studies done on this are like... will tell you that it's genuinely not a problem. Not only does it affect such a small number of people that it's like negligible, but outright bans like this are just fucking stupid and end up hurting everybody, including, of course, cis women. Because again, we had yet another example this week of the Sportswoman Personality of the Year thing being given to a black African woman who, because of the unusual testosterone levels or whatever, was temporarily kicked out of a tournament or something. And so all of the turfoids have been up in arms. Oh, they're giving the Woman of the Year award to a man. No, they're not. They're a woman. Now, I wouldn't have a problem even if they were trans, but let's say that that's somehow an issue. This person isn't even trans. And they're still doing this because, again, it's tied to racism. Misogynoir, I believe. Where African women aren't really seen as women, really. They're basically just blokes, because they're naturally gifted athletes, some of them. And so you end up with virtually all black African women being seen in that way, and virtually every woman, cis woman, who has been directly affected by these arbitrary levels of adrenaline and fucking testosterone and all that shit, are almost all black women from Africa. What a surprise. A misogynist, racist shittery from the TERF Brigade. But, the leopards definitely won't eat their face. When the fucking when the Nazi pricks take over, they definitely won't eat J.K. Rowling's face. Honest. No, it's fine.
And they're going to probably put Jim Jordan in charge of it. Fuck no, okay? But when you get to the professional level, you get to the Olympic level, you guys make a giant mistake. You fall right into their trap. And you go, oh, yeah, sure, they should be able to compete. When the overwhelming majority of the American people do not agree with you, you should let the...
I don't give a fuck what the overwhelming majority of anything agree with, you dopey cunt. What was the overwhelming opinion of slavery before the Civil War? No, I'm not suggesting people wanted to do slavery. I'm saying about the permissibility under law of slavery. The majority of American people seemed to be okay with it. They didn't necessarily want it in their state. They didn't necessarily want it all in their state. But they were fine with the South continuing to do slavery. They were fine with parts of the United States continuing to do slavery. Did that ever make it morally justifiable? Did that ever make it a position worth defending? No. No, it fucking didn't. I don't give two fucks what people agree with or disagree with, particularly. There are some positions that are based on basic human decency and morality. I, unlike you, Cenk, am not prepared to sell myself down the river to win 4 racist votes in Missouri. I'm going to stand with people who have been marginalised, be it trans people, gay people, pregnant people, whatever. And you can run off and suck Elon Musk's dick. You fucking sellout hack piece of shit. Go fuck yourself.
Olympics and the professional sports decided on their own. It is not a constitutional right. They have no so-called right to participate in the WNBA. I don't have a right to participate in the NBA. So, number one, I don't agree when you go to those extremes. And number two, does it affect elections? Well, we had an overwhelming answer to that in the Trump-Harris contest, because Donald Trump ran the anti-trans ad, which was not about hating trans people, although of course it was perceived as such by a lot of people. And so, but what it was saying, hey, you guys are giving free surgery to undocumented immigrants who are detainees who are trans. It's too much. It's too, and I agree, it is too much. Now,
wow, you sound like a fucking Fox News wanker. Well done on accepting the entire framing of the narrative from the right. Again, you're supposed to be a progressive media individual. You should be the one trying to set the agenda, not the one slurping the shit from the arse of the right-wing media establishment.
98% of Americans agree. It is too much, right? So instead of saying, oh, no, that you guys are right, that's too much, we did, and of course, sports leagues, that's fine.
So hang on, by the way, Cenk, so you support public health care, except for prisoners? Like, you think that everyone should have access to healthcare in America, right? You realise that would include prisoners? Or you should have public healthcare but not trans people? Like, who are you trying to exclude from your universal healthcare plan here, Cenk? I do need to know, because you're probably going to do a fake run for president again in 4 years. So it'd be nice to have your opinions fleshed out on this one. Who doesn't deserve healthcare in your America, Cenk?
And of course, no, we're not going to pay for any surgery for a dude who just crossed the border a second ago, right? Instead, you guys go, no, let's fight. Oh, for God's sake. And you dig in, and now we're on a losing ground for no reason at all.
Can you tell me who was...
But again, who's on a losing round? The Democrats want to elect more neoliberal fuckers. I'm not prepared to sell people down the river to get neoliberals elected. What the fuck? So we should sell trans people down the river so that we can get, Gavin Newsom elected? So that he can, presumably have law enforcement beat up every homeless person in America? The fuck? He just called a trans woman a dude. Yeah, because he's a transphobe. Yeah. Like, he and Anna might pretend to give a fuck about trans people. They don't. They honestly don't. They are just transphobes. Fuck Michael Walker. Total kick the ladder away guy. True, Katie. I did a... I don't know if you saw. I don't know how often you watch, but I did a thing about Michael Walker. Both on my stream, and then last Friday I was on with Curtis, who was just on GB News. I was on with Curtis talking about it, and how Navarra media are kind of dog shit. There's loads of good people like Helena who still work there, but fucking Walker's a wanker. Honestly, Aaron Bastani's annoying. Yeah. There's some bad vibes going down there. Some bad vibes.
Who on the Democratic Party's campaign was actually saying, like, no, we have to issue bottom surgery for undocumented migrants, outside of Kamala Harris saying that in an ACLU questionnaire in 2019. Faced with the question, what will you do for trans people? She just gave that answer, which was a bad answer to give regardless. But was there like a hyper focus from the Democratic Party's campaign that I'm missing?
So Trump starts running the ad, and it instantly jumps to the most effective ad according to Trump's internal numbers and according to Kamala Harris's internal numbers. So at that point,
That's also not true. David Plouffe literally said on the Pod Save America autopsy that they engaged in that the ad actually wasn't all that impactful at all.
Yeah, bullshit.
Oh, you
I
don't
saw
believe
him
it?
say that. I know it's not true because Future Forward, the biggest PAC that Kamala Harris said that the Charlemagne the God version of that moved the national polls by not the national polls, but for people who viewed it, it moved the numbers by 2.7 points nationally.
Okay.
That is gigantic, and they said it was the most effective ad Trump had. That's why he then doubled down and quadrupled down and wound up spending 20% of his entire ad budget on that ad,
I think
because both sides thought it was the single most effective ad.
I think that's literally the reason why Kamala Harris was able to actually catch up to Donald Trump on not only the economy because of their hyper focus on the trans shit.
Yeah,
but
because it doesn't actually move the needle that much. Yeah.
Thought that helped Kamala Harris?
No, I don't. I think that
it distracted the Trump campaign. Yeah, it sent them down a wild goose chase.
This kind of hyper focus on a marginalized group is not moving people to go out and vote in any meaningful capacity for some of the reasons that you also mentioned, but also because most people don't know who the fuck trans people are. They've never met a trans person. They don't give a shit. They just care about the economy. And when you're hyper focusing on just like
cooked, absolutely cooked,
trans people and like dominating trans people or some shit, even if it's something that they agree with, they're like, after a certain point, there is outrage fatigue. And I think on the trans issue, we like consultants and people who are hyper focused on the media care far more about.
Yeah, it's sort of disappointing that Hassan didn't call out the misgendering there. But what I will say, just as a fellow content creator, when you're running a stream and you're trying to look at chat and you've got a thing on screen and you've got a guest and stuff, like, it can be difficult to catch every single thing that the person says. So if he just says in passing, what was it you said, a man getting surgery or whatever, you might miss that. You might not necessarily pick up on that. Now, he should be pushing back, I think, more on the bigotry, but that specific element of it can slip you by if you've got, like, things to try and focus on. It's a high-pressured environment. So I will give him that slight bit of leeway.
The effectiveness of ads like that than the actual Americans that went out and voted, and you saw
Except
this reality.
We lost, they won.
No, I know, but okay. So
I
what?
mean, like, it's so in the real world, they won, we lost. In the
that's why
in
you
the
have to look
world
at,
of consultants where they look at polling,
that's why you have
they
to
won,
look.
we lost.
That's why you have to look at the broader campaign.
Okay, that's very weird. Thank you to the Christian Nationalist for gifting a sub to US A-Hole. Firstly, everyone go and follow US A-Hole, who is fucking awesome. But also, the Christian Nationalist. Is that an ironic name? Because I think you might... It must be. It must be, right? Because why would you be a fan of either US A-Hole or me if you were an actual Christian Nationalist? Like... What? That doesn't make any sense. You realise that neither I or a USA hole, like, fuck with that shit at all, right? Maybe they did stumble into the right, I don't know. But I don't know what it is about me that makes... I mean, I've literally got bisexual lighting. I don't know why you... I don't know why a Christian Nationalist would think I was to give me money. Why not? Because nationalism is cringe and shit, and, well, I don't particularly mind Christianity in the sense that Christians are fine, or can be fine, but Christian nationalism as in, like, a nation run by Christians, for Christians, that's fucked up. Yeah, that's very fucked up. You're British. I am unfortunately British, this is true.
And what Americans were
Look, I'm white enough that you might think I'm a Christian nationalist, but I'm not.
Concerned with, and why they voted in the ways that they did. And I think
Haas,
here's
your
where you and
position-
I agree on.
So your position is even though both sides overwhelmingly say that ad was the most effective ad and it moved people and it cost Kamala Harris tons and tons of votes, you disagree.
Yes, and the reason why I disagree with it is because, well, I don't completely disagree with it, and I'll explain to you why, and I think you and I are going to be in agreement with this. I think that the only way that that ad is even remotely sticky when, you know, or even remotely effective, when I still question the legitimacy of how effective the ad was, because there's plenty of examples of people actually defending trans people and then winning by resounding numbers all across the country.
It depends on what issue, though, Haas.
It's because the Democrats they stand for nothing. There is nothing that unites the base of support for the Democratic Party. They are this weird big tent, third way neoliberal party that is constantly pointing to institutional norms and defending this notion of civility. If that is your overarching campaign strategy.
Literally, the attitude that lost them this election was the very same attitude that went, we'd like to give you the thing we promised, but the parliamentarian. It's that. Because people don't truck with that shit. If you promise them something positive, you should fucking do that. And no amount of, the parliamentarian said we can't do it. No, you deserve to lose then. You've sold the people out, you deserve to lose. Now, Trump deserved to win less, but the Democrats did deserve to lose. Simple as that. You don't govern on behalf of the people, and the people rejected you. Tough shit. You know, get better. Sucks to be you, you know?
Strategy, then yes, if you stand for nothing, you will, you know, people can turn around and tell others what you actually stand for. They can reframe what you actually stand for and say this is the type of stuff that they care about actually. And therein lies the problem. And I think you and I will agree on this. If it was like a Bernie Sanders style candidacy, if Kamala Harris was like, I want Medicare for all, that Americans are suffering. I want to fix the housing crisis by implementing a federal jobs program backed like, mass housing boom that will actually fix the housing markets in all these big cities and all across the country by building a shit ton of houses. No public-private partnership, none of that. No opportunity economy language whatsoever. We're gonna just fucking build, baby, build. Okay? If those are some of the key markers that you're focusing on, this does two things. Okay? This does two things. Number one, Republicans are reactionary, so now they have something that they have to fight against. And if they don't have anything to fight against, they're going to find new fucking wedge issues to make everybody pay attention to, no matter how silly or stupid, right? So now they have to fight against that policy and present why that policy is bad. Now they have to sit there and lie about why giving healthcare to every American is actually going to be devastating because they're,
You raise a very interesting point. Is Cenk getting fracking money now? Because I can't imagine anything about the business end of TYT making sense without that and them continuing on this path. It would not surprise me that if they're getting like Peter Thiel money or some shit. Something like that. Because like you say, them continuing to go down this right-wing shittery vibes, look, there is no real market for that. And there's certainly no market within the left for that. So they're hemorrhaging viewers. They're hemorrhaging financial supporters. So they must have some other revenue source somewhere, right? The right wing aren't giving them money, or at least the average right wing person aren't giving them money. They don't seem to have made a very pro-Russia move, so I don't think it's Russia giving them money. So I think it's probably some dark fucking Peter Thiel. What's the family called? What's that family called that do all the fucking right wing money thing? Not Russell. The fucking oh god, I've forgotten their name. Anyway, there's a family that do that. Not Brooks Brothers. Fuck. Hang on. Who? Well, the Koch brothers are one of them, but who is the? There's definitely Koch brothers money in there. Mercers, the Mercer family. There we go. The Koch brothers are also a thing as well, but yeah. The Flintstones. Yeah, it was the Flintstones. Although the Flintstones would be woke now because they say have a gay old time. So that's woke. That's woke.
Backed by their corporate donors. So that's a major issue with the way that the Democratic Party operates in general, and I think you agree with me on this, right? If you give him something to fight for, if you give him something to fight against, they're not going to fucking find new ways that find new things that they can just like draw a wedge on. So that's number one.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Number
doesn't surprise
two,
me, Mr.
okay?
Satnav.
The second thing is when you don't have this broad, very obvious policy that you like earnestly are fighting for, that you have been able to communicate to like the majority of the population, like this is my North Star. This is the key defining issue of the Democratic Party this election cycle. Okay.
Rhizome has the best some of the best memes. Rhizome cheeks. That is that is righteous.
All of a sudden, when you cave and capitulate, the second point I was going to make is when you cave and capitulate the right-wing framing on these issues, the only thing you end up doing is basically admitting that the Republicans are right. And the Democrats have done this on immigration.
Yeah, but that's what Cenk wants. Cenk is just doing that on all the other things. The only thing he's still relatively based on is Palestine, but other than that, garbage.
Democrats have done this on policing. The Democrats have allowed the Republicans to dominate the space over and over and over again, and they've done it with trans issues as well, or they're doing it now with trans issues as well. Just call it out for what it is. It's a simple distraction. This is not going to put food on your table. This is the way that the Republican Party gets away with being in the pocket of billionaires.
I think he's gone so far that it would be difficult for him to row back and take a pro-Israel position. But maybe AIPAC. Maybe AIPAC would give him money to just not talk about it so much. Like, because as long as there isn't like major pushback, that's what Israel wants. Israel doesn't really give a fuck if your average person supports them, just as long as they're not putting serious pressure on the foreign governments to like stop it. So maybe that would work. I don't know. Thank you, James Holmes, for 5 gifted memberships on the YouTube. Much fucking love to you. Although again, I will just because we don't need to listen to that 5 times. But thank you, James. Honestly, I would suck you dry. You'd be like, your balls would be like the Sahara, mate.
By saying this is the only thing that the Democrats care about. Trans people are your neighbors. They're not your landlord. They're not your boss, and they're not the reason why healthcare is so costly. Okay, they're a tiny group of people in this country that just want to live their same lives. They literally have the same exact class interests as you. They literally also have to pay rent at the end of the day. They also still are harmed by the same fucking shitty job opportunities that people have. They also are worried about not being able to own a home or retire at a reasonable age. The idea that these people are the reasons as to why you're experiencing economic anxieties is silly. Don't ever have this conversation. That's what I say. And that's how I deal with it as someone who is obviously somewhat radical in my pro-trans message overall. Because it's silly. It's a nonsensical position that you even recognize as nonsense.
So let me start with the agreement and move to the disagreement. So the agreement is super important here because you're right. And this ad is, in a sense, the perfect symbol of, in my experience, you only agree with half of this, but the merger of what is wrong with the Democratic Party's corporate wing and the radical left wing. You switch them together.
You will get radical.
to labels in a minute. Okay, so you smush them together and you have this ad, and this ad helped Trump win and Kamala Harris lose. Why are you smushing them together? For the exact reason that you explained. Because if they were like Bernie Sanders and they were economic populists, Bernie can say, why are we talking about that issue? We should be doing higher minimum wage.
Right, but the thing is, Cheng, like, she didn't even come out and say anything really that was particularly like pro-trans during the election. Virtually at all. Like, it's just fucking stupid. Like, she really didn't. Like, to be honest with you, she kind of threw them under the bus a little bit. I will follow the law. Like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, that's such mealy-mouthed bullshit. And yet they're acting like she was out there every day going, whoa, trans people. I'm going to let trans people fuck your kids. I'm going to force every single kid in America to have to do fucking drag time story hour every Tuesday. Like, she literally didn't do anything. Her fucking campaign did nothing for trans people. So what the fuck are you talking about? You're literally just doing Trump's bidding by, like, claiming that this was, like, a big part of the fucking Kamala Harris ticket, when it wasn't, clearly.
And we should be doing universal health care, etc. And then now we're having a real conversation about things that affect people's lives. And Kamala Harris can't do that because she's too busy pleasing the donor class, right?
Tony West. Shouts out to my man, Tony West.
And who cost us election more, that ad or Tony West? Not close. Tony.
Also, can I just say, the fact that he says us. Note that. Us. So he's just a Democrat. He's not even a progressive anymore. He's just a fucking Democrat. Cost us the election. That's what, like, I'm angry that Trump won. I think it would have been better had Kamala Harris won. But I don't feel like this is a personal loss for the left, because the left weren't a part of this. The left weren't up for vote. It was the centre-right versus the far right. That's it. The left weren't on the ballot. I don't fucking see myself as... How did we lose the election? Fuck that. Kamala Harris is fucking garbage. She's literally doing a genocide. She's still doing a fucking genocide in Palestine right now. I don't fucking like her. She's scum. She would have been marginally better in some ways to Trump, though. And I think those would have been vaguely important. In fact, actually very important in some cases. Including for trans people. But they never made it a cornerstone of their campaign in any real way. And they just went, oh, let's just be corporate shitlibs. And they lost. And the message that some of them want to take about it is like, oh, we were too left-wing. Motherfucker, you were like, yay, Liz Cheney. Yeah, Liz Cheney, she supports us. Fucking hell. You were doing well when you were vaguely progressive. It's once you started bringing out fucking Liz Cheney that you lost, you pricks. Unbelievable.
Tony West. Okay, so Tony West, who's the Uber executive, that's her, brother-in-law, told her, oh, you know what? You're too tough on corporations. Instead, you should give them a big bear hug. Go out there and put out that 90 corporate CEOs signed a letter saying you're awesome and that you'll work for corporations and do everything that they want. Bring in Liz Cheney, Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney pulled a 13%. Liz Cheney is one of the most unpopular people, progressive. Data for Progress did a poll that showed the more she campaigned with Liz Cheney, the more she lost support. She lost enthusiasm. It was a super dumb idea, and that cost us more than this ad did. This whole idea of, oh my God, I love big business, and I'll do everything big business tells me. Look at Mark Cuban. He's on every cable channel telling you that I will do whatever the fuck business interests want. It's the worst idea in the world, especially when you're running against Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's going, hey, here's a billionaire, Elon Musk. I'm just gonna give the government to him. And here's another billionaire, Miriam Adelson, and I'm gonna give foreign policy to her. And here's Tim Mellon, weirdo guy who inherited all of his money and douchebag who wants tax cuts because he's just rich and earned nothing in his life. And I'm gonna give him tax cuts for the rich, right? But they never make that case because they're corporate douchebags. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, all of Democratic leadership. And so these guys are never going to win another general election. The American people hate them. They should hate them, okay? And so what the right wing doesn't understand is both the populist left and what they call the woke left, I call radical left or whatever, we'll figure out the label in a minute.
Yes, you do call them a different thing, but you mean the same thing, don't you? Why not just call them woke? If you're going to do the right-wing grift, do it properly. Just call them woke. Call them commies. Go for it. You fucking douche.
But in this case, you're on the right side. You say, fuck the corporate interests, fuck the donors, right? So, and the populist right agrees with that. So that's actually an interesting point that we should...
Also, interestingly, that you mention all of those billionaires that Donald Trump supports. Because I do have to take you back to the idea that he isn't the candidate for the establishment. Do you remember, Cenk? The thing you fucking tweeted out, you dopey shit. Where is it? Here we go. Hang on. Oh. My mortal enemy is the establishment, and now they have been defeated. MAGA is not my mortal enemy. The establishment is, and they were defeated. So, is Donald Trump being anti-establishment when he gives those billionaires everything they want? I think you might be full of shit, Cenk. I don't know, mate. I think you might be a wanker.
Come back to a point of agreement we should come back to. But the part where we disagree on this is you say, well, if they're digging in on a wedge issue, ignore it. But Kamala Harris literally did that. They had a giant debate about whether to address it or not.
No.
They even pulled ads
You're
where they
misunderstanding
addressed
me.
it.
You're misunderstanding
and they decided, oh, fuck it, let's not address
You're
it. And it was a
wrong.
mistake.
They literally also, like, they did this with immigration especially. Like, they were like, we're not going to ignore it. We're just going to get ahead of it. And what they did with immigration, they're going to do with trans issues next election cycle. And it's the same principle over and over again. It makes you look like a hypocrite, and it makes you look like the Republicans were right all along. And the only thing it does is prime your base into conceding and agreeing with the Republican framing on an issue. If
So
there
what
was
do you
any
do instead? What I say is I delineate. So when you say, hey, Andy Bashir runs against it, but which issue? So if you're talking about constitutional rights, you fight for trans rights 100%. You're talking about military, you fight 100%. I'd fight on bathrooms. I'd fight on high school. But I draw the line on sports. I draw professional sports. I draw the line on giving free surgeries.
That's the thing.
Then you could defend your position and get back to
there's
where
no-
the great majority of
there's
American
no-
people agree with you.
You want to know why there's no reason to draw any of these lines? Because Kamala Harris did actually bring this up, which I thought was like, especially because like she didn't have a clear or consistent position on this at all. It was like, it was left out there in the dark. But like Trump did the same thing as well for undocumented
Then
migrants.
say that. I know.
It's just like it's a thing that nobody gives a shit about until people are primed into caring about it. That's my point. It's been happening for a very long time.
And they seed ground and seed ground and seed ground, accept the right wing framing of it, and then roll over, and everyone loses their rights. They're fucking pathetic, and Cenk is absolutely a part of that.
For prisoners that want to get this component of healthcare, and nobody technically gives a shit about it. It's already like a incredibly tiny, minuscule, marginal percentage. So it doesn't fucking matter. Like it ultimately doesn't matter. I'm saying if the Democrats had
But it
something
did matter.
if Democrats had, but it didn't, and I'll get to that in a second. If Democrats had something that they were fighting for, nobody would give a shit about this. That's the point.
Yeah, but that
you
I
brought
agree.
up Bernie Sanders. And you said, oh, healthcare, universal healthcare. Bernie Sanders has also said trans rights are human rights. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like...
But that's the difference
it's
between
not like-
2016 and 2020.
It's not like Bernie Sanders. It's not like Bernie Sanders himself.
Oh, so Bernie. So it's 2020 or 2024 now. So actually, fuck trans people. We don't need to support trans people anymore because America might be there might be like 6 people in Alabama that don't like it, so we're gonna have to throw trans people under the bus. Honestly, Cenk, please do get in the trash. Please do drop yourself off in the nearest waste disposal unit. It's where you belong.
Is saying like, yeah, fuck trans people. We got to cut them out of this
But nobody's
bargain.
saying fuck trans people. You guys are just making that up.
No.
But Haas, when you frame it
first
that
of all,
way, you get
the
all these crazy
Republicans
people
are
online.
saying that. Republicans are saying that.
No, I know, but we're not saying that.
No,
you get
I
all
know.
These online
You're
who are like, oh my God, if you don't agree to free surgeries for every trans person on planet Earth, you're a fucking Nazi. Well, you know those people exist, and fuck those people.
Okay.
That is the radical left, and they are stupid, and they do cost us elections.
No, you're...
Us. They cost us elections. They cost us elections. Fuck you and fuck the Democratic Party. Like, honestly, Cenk, you being annoyed by this is one of the reasons I support it. Yeah, no, we better just throw trans people under the bus. Fuck them. You're scum. You're just a bad person. Also, note, the framing of it that Hassan used was these right-wing pricks, and instantly he's turned it back to, oh, it's the radical left that are the problem. He's doing the Dave Rubin grift, but worse, less effectively. Thank you, Elistoire, for gifting a sub to 1312. I mean, you could have bought yourself I literally mentioned it earlier, didn't I? Like I asked you. You could have just gave that to yourself, but you gave it to somebody else. And you know what? I appreciate the money nonetheless. It bothers me not. But I thank you. But I am admonishing you at the same time. Because no gift, no act of kindness towards me goes unpunished. Thank you to Shami Sengupta, who says, "Hey Kev, thanks for your reaction to Anna Kay on Navarra. It made it almost bearable." Well, God bless you. That's why I do it. I watch it so that you don't have to. Although if you watch me, you do have to, because like I'm watching it. But you get the idea. Clearly, because that's the message you gave. Thank you, Lord Fritus, for gifting us up to Elistoire. Just because they've got a French-sounding name. You fucking French superiorist bigot. Yeah, I said it. And no, I'm not pronouncing it Bijou.
You're hyper-focusing, and I've had this conversation privately with you many times over. You are hyper-focusing on people that are in your replies on Twitter, and because
so you agree
that's
with
all
me,
you,
that radical left
because
is bullshit,
all you interact,
stupid dumbasses. Do you agree?
There are a million people that are both in your replies that have also gotten mad at me as well.
So again, he's not attacking the right wing for like being transphobic scum. No. You agree with me that the left are the problem. Excellent work. Brilliant. I mean, really just special stuff there from Cenk.
And time again on specific issues, maybe ones that even pertain to trans rights. Okay, it literally doesn't matter. People get very passionate, understanding. I'm very understanding.
Shocking agreement. I agree. There's 13 douchebags online. That's what I said from day one.
I know, but why the fuck would you ever hyper focus on
but
people
Haas,
like that?
Look, no. So you might be doing the right thing. Hold on.
You're doing the Bill Maher thing. You're demanding that there needs to be a sister
bullshit.
No, you're
Hold
doing
on,
the
let me
sister
explain.
soldier moment.
No,
That's it.
bullshit. No, you're okay, so the minute we said the most reasonable things on earth, which you now agree with apparently, then what happened? It wasn't just the 13 douchebags online. And by the way, everybody said, no, those 13 douchebags represent all the left. You're not on the left anymore because the 13 douchebags control the left.
No, you're just not on the left, Cenk. It's not about 13 douchebags. Anna spent the last 2 years whinging about bonus holes and birthing person. Like, you weren't just saying the most reasonable things. Like, she's been talking, like, she's been going on about, like, some weird ass, like, genocidal shit against homeless people. Like, fuck you, dude.
And then what happened next? Then Majority Report jumped in, and Lance from the Serfs, and all the other little dirt.
The Majority Reports, Lance from the Serfs. All these other cunts, they don't appreciate me. So apparently, Sam Cedar, boiling the piss of right-wingers all over the place, including Cenk. Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare, if someone wants to link that. Sam Cedar is one of the 13 lunatics or something. He's one of the 13 mad bastards that run the left online or something. Who'd have thunk it? Majority Report and Lance aren't even far left. He's just doing internet drama now. Yeah, exactly. Well, he's gone so far. Look, Cenk is now so far right wing that he thinks that like the Majority Report is like evil communoid shit or whatever. Yeah, that's what he's about. I heard he's the head of Antifa. Fuck you. I'm the head of Antifa. I am the CEO of Antifa.
Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no,
let's
Sam
go.
Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare.
I always respect people who enter into the arena. You do anything you can to avoid the debate. Come on, man.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Ethan Klein wasn't a total fucking scumbag? Crazy, I know.
You know, you were taking your show off early last time. I had no idea this was going to happen.
Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare.
I always respect people who enter into the arena.
Seems that even Crowder had gotten some cold feet. So
I got into that a bit much.
Why is that? I would love to ask him myself. He's not even answering anymore.
Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare. 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 Oh no, Sam Cedar, what a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, nostalgic as fuck, right?
What a fucking nightmare.
God, I need to get my fucking hair cut. Are you seeing this shit? You fucking seeing this? That's mental. That's mental. I need to get my hair cut. It's official.
I had no idea this was going to happen. I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy.
I did too. Never mind.
Dirtbags jumped in and they were like, "No, Cenk and Anna are turning right. The 13 douchebags are right. We need to protect every trans person should get laid, even in China. Even though we have nothing to do with China,
you gotta
we
stop.
hate them. They're Nazis."
You gotta okay.
I mean, I'm 100% right. Every dirtbag show did it.
You gotta calm
Every
down.
dirtbag show did it. Tell me I'm wrong.
This is reframing an issue that is now.
This is just drama. This is silly. Also, nice shout out for Lance though. That's cool.
We've moved away from the electoral consequences of a trans ad to your own personal anger and frustration that you have with left-wing media online. We are
So do you agree left-wing media online, those guys that I listed are full of shit?
I have
and in a tiny, stupid minority?
I have
All I'm saying is Majority Report's going to overtake you. Because your audience is dying, and people are going over to the Majority Report. It's going to happen, Cenk. Sam Cedar will dance on the grave of the Young Turks.
disagreements with everyone in this space, but there's a reason why seemingly I don't catch the same amount of strays that you do, because I don't hyper focus.
I can tell you why.
I don't hyper focus. What do you think it is?
They think you're hot, young. I don't mean attractive. God bless on that. Okay. I'm also obviously hot. I mean, as in they think, oh, the young people watch Hassan. He's cool. And you give the thing of like, oh, no, trans people are right on everything, right? You don't come out and make the distinctions that Anna and I made. Okay. So.
Yeah, he doesn't do the transphobia that you and Anna do. Correct. Look inward.
They think, oh no, he's good. He's extreme as we are.
I think
he's woke left. Yay, extremeness.
He literally called him woke. Woke left. Or woke. Oh my god, he's just a Fox News presenter.
Reason, first of all, you're
Okay, by the way, Majority Report and all of you guys, you better attack him. He apparently agrees with me. Okay, you better attack him.
I don't.
You're not going to attack him, are you?
You're
Get the fuck out of here.
You're hyper.
It's good that Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland have the ability to boil this man's piss. It makes me like them even more. Everyone go and follow the not the Young Turks. Fuck them. Everyone go and follow the Majority Report, who are awesome. The Kevin Logan seal of approval. What a fucking lunatic, by the way. God damn. Fucking loser.
Hyper personalizing this into like criticisms that you've
comes
received.
and punches you in the face 12 times, and you go, what? Why are you hyper personalizing it?
Because
just because I called you a Nazi, now it's personal to you.
Myself, you, Majority Report.
But I
all
never
of this-
changed my policy.
All
I
of
never
this,
changed my
all of
policy.
this is
Don't send me anime links for any reason. I don't care, Phantom of Black, how fitting it would be, how appropriate. Anime is degenerate, ungodly filth, and I will not have it on this channel. Fact.
inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. And whenever there's like drama, for example, I've been getting attacked mercilessly by my former podcast co-host that has been actively trying to deplatform me for the past 2 months because he thinks that, or he's claiming that I am creating a space that is anti-Semitic. The way I've dealt with that, for the most part, is by just actively ignoring it leading up to the election because I was like, this is some fucking silly nonsense. And in the aftermath, I covered some of the broader points, and I fucking moved on. If you extend the conflict that way, instead of trying to find a reasonable middle ground, and even show humility in a certain, I don't agree. Even show humility instead of saying I'm right, there's never going to be any sort of real
Why am I gonna
solidarity.
show humility to you, a bunch of idiots who are
Because-
wrong?
because I-
like what does humility mean? Like, oh, maybe you're right about your dumb opinion that's going to cost us this election. Maybe you're right about your dumb opinion that gets the majority of the country to hate us when our economic positions are overwhelmingly popular. Maybe you making us intensely unpopular when
Again, we. Fucking we. What is this we, you prick? The Democrats aren't on the left. The Democrats aren't remotely on the left. They're not we. They might be you, sure. They're not we.
we should be focusing on universal health care, higher wages.
Except for trans people or prisoners. Because they don't... You're not allowed to do that because the American people wouldn't like that. So they don't get healthcare. Cool.
Paid family leave, but you idiots hate policy. All you want is identity politic bullshit, and you think that drives ratings, and you want me to show humility to those morons?
Let's
none.
Let's have a meta conversation.
He's not mad though. Don't put in the paper that he was mad.
Really quickly about the ways in which branding works online. I am of this mindset that every single person is far too busy and far too self-involved to pay attention to the more nuanced conversations that others are having on any particular issue. This is why even when there is like a faucet of smears that I am attacked with clips that are completely out of context, I address it and I move on. Okay, I address it and I move on, and I come at this conversation with an understanding that most people are not fully aware of what my analysis is on any particular matter. This has happened in the past.
Thank you, Katie Marshall, for resubscribing. Or remembering? Remembering. Oh, that's good.
With, me purchasing a house where people made a big fucking deal about it. It's okay. And I, at that same, like even back then I said, look, people are angry. People are frustrated with their position in society. People are frustrated with a lack of opportunity. And in that process, when they see fucking rich asshole like myself, buy a house, they're going to get mad at me. And there's a healthy amount of anger towards wealthy people there that I agree with as well. I think that they're misdirecting their anger at the wrong person. But ultimately, I move on. If I spend every waking moment...
I don't care about this conversation. There was one other clip, which I don't know how far into it is, and I don't want to watch this whole thing. But I do just want to... Firstly, that needs to fucking stop. There was this other thing where Hassan was like debunking some of the anti-homeless shit that Cenk pushed. That I kind of wanted to have a look at. And then I'll let you go for the evening, yeah? Is that a deal?
The number one reason why homelessness persists, the number one reason why homelessness exists is because people get priced out of the market. When people get priced out of the market, they start living in their cars. When you start living in your car, you no longer have access to running water. You can't clean yourself. You lose your job. Your job attainment goes away.
Look at him shaking his head. What a cunt. Literally. No, homelessness is because what? People choose to be homeless? People like being homeless. Homeless people grow on trees. Like, where do they come from then, Cenk? What are homeless people? Are they grown in a laboratory, perhaps? Is there a factory that makes them? Or again, just like with the discussion earlier about schools, is there a systemic problem that leads to this? You stupid, selfish, greedy, union-busting, rich cunt.
Your job, you fall further down that pit until you arrive at the homeless guy that has been traumatized by living outside and looks like a crazy person, is probably experiencing significant mental health complications and doing drugs to self-medicate in that process. And everyone sees that and goes, that's crime. Why is no one fixing this?
No.
And that is the major issue. It's not...
I haven't gotten in here in like 20 minutes. So let me address crime.
First of all, you've definitely talked a lot more than me. I've given you all the space.
Okay, listen. So let me address crime, then we'll get...
Cenk has talked about 20% more. That doesn't surprise me. But yeah, I don't know what he goes on to say because I don't know what bit that is. But like, he's just a fucking terrible person. Shaking his head like, no, we should criminalise homelessness. We should absolutely criminalise homelessness because I'm literally the example of a rich California lib. I pretend to care about like gay stuff or something, but actually I just want to shit on the homeless. Orange Man bad, except that he doesn't actually think that Orange Man's bad anymore because he thinks he's anti-establishment because he's just a right-wing wanker. What a fucking loser. What a loser. Honestly. I'm so glad I saw this coming a long time ago. I haven't fucked with the Young Turks for a great deal of time. There's still like 2,000 people in tents in Appalachia. Did they choose Hurricane J? Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. Arisamatri? Apologies, I always mispronounce. Yeah, exactly. Like Cenk's idea and Anna's idea. Again, they're just rich fucking California libs. Awful wankers. Yeah, they do seem to think that it's like a lifestyle choice that people are making. Because again, they don't actually support the working class. They want the credit for pretending to support the working class whilst also just being rich wankers. It's reactionary Karening, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, who is going on? I always forget to do the YouTube one, so I'm going to do that tonight. Who is going on YouTube that I can send everyone over to? If I remember how to do this. Customization, that's the one I'm looking for. Who is going... as we were mentioning him earlier, he of the bikini fame, I'm going to send everyone over to President Sunday on YouTube. Bye. And on Twitch, who's going where on Twitch? Let's have a look. I mean, I suppose if President Sunday is going on Twitch, I'll just send you over there, but I don't know if he is. Does he do Twitch anymore? I don't see him, so presumably not. Okie dokie. Cosmopolitics is a good person. I'll send you over there. Sleep well, friends. Continue to be awesome as ever. Fuck's sake. Meh. Politics. There we go. And I will see the tomorrow probably, possibly with No Justice. I haven't arranged anything, but we tend to watch Laura Kay in the evening at some point. So yeah, thank you everyone for your support. You're fucking awesome. Free Palestine, no passing around.